Hello. Can you guys hear us? We good? Yes, we are. Welcome, people, to. Shut up. Welcome, people, to Fraudwatch. Welcome back to the Press XI. My name's Prime, and with me I have.
Devil's Avocado, also known as Rachel. How you guys doing? How you, Prime?
I'm good. I'm good. Just bit of technical difficulties we had to deal with. Some fly problems. Speaking of pests, with us we've got a pretty good panel. A lot of eventful things have happened over the past week, over the past 7 days. So we've got Will from KH No Filter Football.
Hi everyone. I hope you've all had a good day.
He sounds so happy.
Yes, this people, this is Will when he's happy. He still sounds depressed. Anyway, we've also got Samuel who will provide more energy for Will.
Listen, I'm happy tonight now. Listen, I don't know where
Jesus.
I'm really happy right now. Listen, it's been a good day. Friday Fraudwatch, we're here. Prime time, night time, watershed show. We're here. Prime, Rachel, Will, we're all here. Let's get the show on the way. Callers in, call-in show. Let's get the show on the way. Yeah. Okay, but let's
Samuel,
go, man.
can you give me what you've taken, please? Maybe I'll have more energy.
Listen, I went to a little American candy store, bought myself a little candy. I didn't know nothing. It's normal stuff. Don't say Samuel out yet.
Is the American candy? Does that mean something else, Samuel? Is that
American candy store? American M&Ms, Skittles.
Speaking of American candy, our final guest we have tonight is Bryant.
Hey!
If I was going to be a piece of candy, I think I would be one green Skittle.
Why green?
One green Skittle.
Why green? Why green?
Not two green Skittles. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm keeping myself humble here. One green Skittle, because green Skittles are the best.
Why green? Really?
What? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
One green Skittle.
Okay, fine. The comments.
We will argue about this tonight, Prime. We will.
What piece of candy would you be if you could be one? I don't know. Sure, let's stick with that question. Samuel, who would you be, or what would you be, and why?
You know what? I like to be an M&M. That'd be quite nice.
What kind of M&M though? Peanut?
Oh, no. Chocolate. The red flavor.
I think they're all chocolate. Every last one of them is chocolate.
Listen, I did have some of that today, so yeah, that's still in my stomach. It's still on my mind. Chocolate M&M is the best candy ever made.
What's with the accent? Samuel?
Listen. This is I hopefully I didn't embarrass Brian with that accent. Hopefully I didn't butcher it like Gal butchers names. But listen, there's no way. Listen, I ain't high on Coca-Cola bottles. I'm high on. No, I'm not. I'm not even high. I'm just happy. I've got energy today.
Can I say what candy I am?
Speaking of Igal, he says he's on his way. What candy would you be and why?
I would be a part of the M&M family, but I'll be a crispy M&M because I'm a very rare specimen, and I'm full of a lot of layers. I have many different layers to my personality, and I'm very misunderstood. Plus, they're blue.
That's true. That is true. You have a lot of layers. Like an onion, like an ogre. Anyway, Rachel, who would you be?
Probably those nerd sweets. They're the little candies.
I hate those sweets, Rachel. I can't stand them.
They're controversial. That's what I would say. Some people hate them. Some of them love them. I think that's just me.
That sounds like me, but okay. But yeah, getting into the show. Samuel switched off his camera. It's going to go to him. But actually, let's go to Bryant anyway. What is your fraud for the week?
Oh man, my fraud for the week. You know him. You know him. You might not love him. You also might think that his football team in the Premier League is better than they actually are and have been for the past 2 seasons. My man Nuno Espirito Santo stepped down from Wolves, and it's a good thing because He should have. It's a good thing he stepped away before he got fired for not progressing that club. That club is stuck in mid-table, bang average, but everybody talks about them like they're much better than they actually are, and they're not. There's consistently starting a guy on the right wing who prior to the season went over a year without a goal and an assist. I mean, Ruben Neves is coming to Manchester United this season, so they're going to be without him. You know, I mean, Nuno, I don't know what's in store for him next. I'm glad that he's done what he's done with Wolves, but I just don't see him as being that progressive manager to take a project like that to the next level. So for me, he's my fraud for the week.
I'm sorry, you say he hasn't progressed Wolves.
No.
He's based on what?
Okay, no. Actually, that's a good point. Okay, because I'll truly
No, Sammy, no, wait. Let him go with this. Based on what he hasn't progressed Wolves, because this is interesting.
For me, I think Wolves is one of those like conundrum teams that people talk about them as if they're far better than they are. I think that they actually he did well with them in the championship, and then they had a good first season in the Premier League. But this season they have not done well. Not as well as the talk around them suggests they should be doing in the Premier League. And I feel like for me, when they ended, like Willian Jose has been not a great pickup for them. Like, of course, like Raul Jimenez was such a linchpin for their attack. They lost Diego Jota as well, and then they haven't really been able to find a player that could kind of fill that role, not necessarily to his level, but to a level where they would at least still be able to continue taking steps forward. And so I feel like he's done well at Wolves, but I could see the project stagnating under him. On top of that, their football's boring, man. Like, they're really boring to watch. And I feel like the modern game, people prioritize and value attractive football over football that gets results. And Nuno isn't that guy for me. He's not a guy that will put out a team that's going to go out and play an entertaining game. He's going to put out a team that's going to try to not lose. And when you look at some of the talent that he has on that team, I feel like he should be doing the opposite. And he keeps getting smacked around by Burnley at home. Like, what's up with that, dude? Like, come on. You want to talk about a dead team in the Premier League? There's not one more dead than them. And
I don't think that's fair.
Brian, no. Prime deep, okay. Sean Dyche put 4 past Nuno Espirito Santo at home.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sean Dyche is a good manager. Don't mess with Dyche. He's a good manager.
He is a good manager, but his Burnley team is not good, and they're not better than Wolves.
Oh, actually, I got a shout.
You do know in the Premier League anyone can beat anyone.
Yeah, but does it always happen? No.
In that manner.
Spurs beat Manchester United 6-1. United are second in the league, and Spurs are 7th or 8th.
That's not the same, Prime. You know that.
But it is the same. Chelsea lost to West Brom. They're relegated and we're 4th.
Yeah, because Chelsea's terrible. We all know that.
I'm
kidding. Okay, yeah, no, I know. Anybody can beat anybody. I just feel like Wolves was always one of those teams that people would talk about them as if they were like taking the Premier League by storm, and they never really were. There was always a level of like hype around that team that I think was kind of unwarranted, both in style of play and in results. So for me, I rate some of their players, and I think Nuno is like a decent manager, but not one that deserves the plaudits that he's been given, personally.
Wow.
To be fair to him this season, obviously Jimenez got injured, and they lost Jota, who's a very good player as well. I mean, they're pretty important players. I mean, obviously they're not doing as well as they did last season, but you know, I think he's done quite well with them in the last couple of seasons. I mean, he's gotten some incredible results against very good teams, and they were kind of a bogey team for us for a little while. I think he's a good manager. I don't think he's an elite one, but I think he's a good manager.
Yeah. I also like have friends of mine who are Spurs fans who were like, I would take Nuno. And I was like, if I was a Spurs fan, I wouldn't want him anywhere near my club. You're going to play boring football. You are.
Yeah, Spurs aren't in a position to complain about that right now. No one wants them. So,
Rachel, if I'm
You're not wrong. You're not.
if I'm being honest,
Speaking of Spurs, Massimiliano Allegri learned English just to reject them. So yeah, what are you saying?
No one took about Tottenham. I want them.
I still think Wolves could be a contender to go down next season, but I think if they kept Nuno, I think they'd have little to no chance of staying up. It was just a sink. He did well. He's done well for a few seasons there, but that was a sinking ship, and he got out at the right time. I think.
Isn't he the same guy that? He went to Wolves. He got them He not just got the promotion. He won the championship. His first season in the Prem, he finished I think seventh,
yeah,
or eighth, and he replicated that while also being in the Europa League. I think he needs to get more respect. Obviously, he's not the best manager in the world. I'm not saying that, but it's to say that he's not good or that he's overrated. I think that's a massive disrespect to him.
I don't think people rate him as a world class manager. I think they rate him exactly how he should be rated, a good manager.
Yeah,
he's done very well, I would say.
I didn't say he wasn't good. I said he's a fraud.
I don't see he's going to be
replaced but why is he a fraud? Though? But why is he a fraud? That's what I'm confused by. Has anyone rated him more than he should be?
I think coming out of last season, yes, for sure. Like coming into this season, people were talking about Wolves like they were like some incredible side, and they have good players, but losing him as losing Jota, I think that there are some players that they brought in this season and some players that they continue to play that have hindered them, and the style of play also I don't think helps them progress as much as maybe they should. I think they could be a bit more. I think they could be a bit more cavalier in how they play. But they had injuries. They're quite boring to watch.
But boring in aesthetics in style of football, that is a preference thing because I like the way Wolves play personally.
It is an aesthetic and a preference, but I think people in the modern game value attractive football over football that gets results.
Yeah, it's true. They had injuries to key players. That is true. I mean, Jimenez, he's been out for like half the season now, and that's a big miss to them.
He was fine.
What do you mean he was fine?
He could have played all year. He just didn't want to.
All right. Well, I mean, we're just going to get into a back and forth. Does anyone agree that?
Yeah, I agree with me.
But anyone else? I can't have this slander. Anyone else agree?
I don't think.
I got apparently Bruno Lage is going to be his replacement. Do you know who he is? Any of you?
He's Portuguese, I think.
Yep. He was sacked as Benfica manager last season. He was assistant manager at Swansea City in 2017-18. So the Carlos Carvalho guy, if you remember him at Swansea, who was his former assistant manager. Yeah, that's his assistant manager. So I mean, I think it's more of a downgrade, but I'll go into the Nuno thing will go slightly into my Fraudwatch show. So I don't want to go into it too much.
No, that's fair enough. Nippon hasn't connected in backstage. He was the first one. I don't know if can hear us or anything like that. No, he can't. Should we bring on? We'll bring on Sonny. Hey, Sonny.
Hello,
Sonny.
I wasn't prepared. Sorry.
Who do you want to put on Fraudwatch tonight? Is it going to be Nat Phillips?
Hold up. What? No. I put people who don't rate Nat Phillips on Fraudwatch.
Mo Salah.
No. People who don't rate Nat Phillips are on Fraudwatch.
Okay.
All right. State your case.
Define rate.
appreciate what he's done for us and want him to continue to do what he's doing for us by keeping him and giving him a new contract.
I want Liverpool to give him a new contract because he's awful. He's
How is he awful?
Back.
Well, can I say something? Can I say something?
Let him go.
All right, so
go.
At one point, Nat Phillips was our only fit senior centre back. Our only one. No one else, just him. And defence hasn't been our problem. Please tell me how we have no fit senior centre backs. Nat Phillips is our only fit one, and defence isn't our problem.
Wait a minute.
Sonny, hold on. Sonny, please explain to me then why your defence isn't a problem, but yet Liverpool fans always complain about the fact that Van Dijk's injured, Gomez is injured. It's our defence. That's why.
No. The Van Dijk bit is because Van Dijk is more than a defender. He is that good.
Van Dijk's a fraud anyway, but it's fine.
No. Don't get into that. Suddenly ignore him. I got a question. Okay. Since Nat Phillips came into that team, what happened in January? He lost 6 straight home games. 6 straight home games.
Let me tell you that. I know where you're going with this, yeah? So we've been on really, really, really good form recently, so we can forget about that, yeah? The only reason we're in the top 4 is because of Nat Phillips, okay? Like I said, defense hasn't been our problem. We haven't been able to finish our chances. So those games that we lost was because of that.
Do you know why I don't rate Nat Phillips?
Hang on, Will. Hang on. So recently, in terms of the form table, I know, yes, form table, we're top of the league. We are top of the league in the form table. The games that we've dropped points in, when I say recently, even go before recently, have been Leeds and Newcastle. Both 1-1 draws, both late equalisers. Nat Phillips wasn't on the pitch. Coincidence? I think not.
Sonny, how long is this form table?
Well, the last time I checked, it was 6 games, but we've won another game since then, so we're still top of it.
If I was to tell you Arsenal are second in the form table since December or January, would you believe me?
But no, I do believe you because they've been in good form, Prime.
But would you laugh?
No, I wouldn't laugh because they've been in good form. So if you're in good form, the chances are you're going to be up that table.
Well, if an Arsenal fan, so if someone like Igal or Ty said we're second in the form table, that's not that bad under Arteta, would you laugh?
Yeah, I'd probably laugh at that, but that's not my point. That's not my point because, like I said, this isn't just the form table. The games that we've dropped points in, Nat Phillips hasn't played. The games that he has played in, and remember this as well, the goals that we concede when he is on the pitch, it's never down to him.
Okay,
never
Sonny.
We'll ask Sonny. Okay, do you want Liverpool to win the Premier League next season?
Yes, of course I do.
I look at past Premier League partnerships. Okay, they've had some of the best centre backs of all time, and you're gonna put returning Van Dijk, who's been out with an Achilles injury or knee injury for the past year. I put him with Nat Phillips. You ain't winning nothing when Nat Phillips at the back. The best you'll get when Nat Phillips at the back next season is 4th place. At best.
Well, Samuel, let me ask you, where's your evidence?
To be fair, I don't really know, do you?
He is not an elite level defender. I look at Chelsea's defense. He's not better than Rudiger.
No, but why is he not an elite level defender? We don't know if he is. From what he's done in a Liverpool show, we can only look at him as an elite defender.
Can I make a point?
Okay.
Rachel and I were having a conversation about this earlier, and we used Chris Smalling as an example. Chris Smalling is a decent defender, but apart from being a decent defender, what does he offer? That makes you average. A defender needs to be a decent defender.
I bet he's got great.
Let me ask you a question. Okay.
Rudiger at Chelsea and Thiago Silva at Chelsea. They're great. We're not great. They're good. Well, Thiago Silva is, but they're good defenders, and they offer something else. They're great on the ball. They offer us more than just defending. That makes you a good defender.
Yes.
But
with that, you just said a good defender, but you're bringing attributes that aren't defending.
You're a good centre back.
Wait, hold on. Sonny, are you not the same guy that said Maguire isn't much better than Nat Phillips?
I know. I literally said Phillips is better than Maguire. So
no, he's not, though, is he? He's not.
Well, he is.
No, he's not. Maguire.
He is. I'll tell you why. Let me go. Let me explain. We're not gonna look at Nat Phillips and say, what he's done for a different club a few years ago. Why don't we just look at what he's done for Liverpool and what Maguire's done for Man United? Has Maguire won something at Man United?
Has Nat
Phillips hasn't either.
No,
he hasn't. That's why I said debate. And
you got knocked out by Real Madrid and he was shit.
Wait. Hold on. Sonny, you're going based on what people have won. So by your
argument... No, I'm not. I'm saying that Maguire, the only reason he could be ahead of Phillips is not that reason because it doesn't exist. He hasn't won anything.
Okay, fine. But so by your argument and by your logic, Gerrard can no way touch Lampard or Scholes because he hasn't won the Premier League. By your argument.
Well, you didn't let me
Got
finish
him.
my debate.
Got him.
No, he
Okay,
hasn't
finish
got
it,
me.
finish
Don't
it.
even
Okay,
pull this.
you haven't got him. Hasn't got him.
Finish.
Sonny, come on,
Finish it.
you're on the corner now, Sonny. Try to get out of it.
But I'd only be saying the points that I've already said. Defense hasn't been our problem when we've had one fit senior centre back, and I couldn't name you many other defenders who'd come in, partner Reece Williams, and make us even be in a challenge for top 4.
Thiago Silva would, Maguire would.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on.
David
Maguire
Luiz
wouldn't.
David
Maguire
Luiz
wouldn't.
Maguire would.
Okay, Sonny.
Chris Small, actually, wait, hold on. Can I just? You say in contention for top 4. Let me just look at the. Actually, I'll bring it up for everyone. Look at the league
Bring up
table.
the form
Because
table.
We're fourth, by the way.
Let me look
We're
at
fourth,
the league table because I'm not judging the season based on 6 games. I'm not ridiculous.
We're fourth.
But
So
okay, well, let's look at the Premier League. Everyone keeps saying that Leicester City and Rodgers have bottled it. So is it that they're bottling it, or Nat Phillips is so good that he's got you into top 4?
well, I never said
confused.
that anyone's bought it. So
I didn't say you said it.
Prime. Let him go.
I didn't mention your name.
wait, what's your point? Go on, say it again.
Because people always say stuff like people have bottled it if you lose or you get knocked out of something, but yeah, they don't commend the other teams for capitalizing, getting into it.
We
So
bought
is it
ourselves
that
back
Liverpool-
into it.
Prime. No. I got
Or
something to
have
say,
Leicester bottled it? That's the question I'm trying to make.
Prime, no, Sonny, before you go, I got something to say here, okay? Liverpool have just bought Konate from RB Leipzig, okay? And you try to tell me right now that you put, was it Reece Williams or Nat Phillips? Sorry, they're both the bad centre backs.
Oh my
Let's be
God.
honest.
You don't
Okay.
believe that.
Nat Phillips, okay? You will play Nat Phillips over Konate next season.
I never said that.
No,
But
you
he should
really
he should be in contention to start next season.
Ahead of Konate and Van Dijk.
I never, no, because there's no evidence to say what they're going to do in a Liverpool shirt. What I'm doing here is basically what Nat Phillips has done in a Liverpool shirt, which has been almost 10 out of 10.
So based off
Alright.
your logic, Antonio Rudiger since Tuchel's came in has been one of our best players. Does that mean if, for example, a world-class defender, let's say we sign Van Dijk, we're not going to sign Van Dijk, but what if we did? So you're saying that based off of what Rudiger's done for Chelsea this season, Van Dijk might not start over Rudiger?
There's a big difference, a massive difference.
It's not a massive difference.
Rudiger, how
Well,
many
it is
seasons?
a
How
difference.
many
But it's the
seasons
same
has
sort of
Rudiger
thing.
had for Chelsea, and how many seasons has Phillips had for Liverpool? Rudiger's
Okay.
had bad games in a Chelsea shirt. I cannot name you 2
He's
games
had one
where
bad
Phillips
season.
has not had a
He
bad
had one
game.
bad run of form, which lost his place. Under
Okay, well,
Lampard threw him out.
Phillips has yet to have a bad run of form. He might not
Yes,
even have a
because
bad run of form. He might be
he
too
has-
good for a
okay,
bad run of
okay.
form.
What? So if for example, what is Nat Phillips better than? You say he's better than Harry Maguire. What is he better at than Harry Maguire? He's not a better defender. He's in the air. You could argue.
Your opinion?
No, he's not better than Aaron Maguire. No.
You could argue. I'm just going to say you could argue it for argument's sake.
No, there's no argument.
Okay.
Harry Maguire is
Let's just say Maguire's better then. On the ball, Maguire's better, no doubt.
Yeah.
So what is Nat Phillips better at?
Well, okay, so let me bring it back to this whole bottle thing that you always talk about on here. So
We didn't say bottle. Well, that's not what I
Maguire
asked. I
bottles
said, what is
everything. Yeah, he's
Well,
literally
that
at fault
makes
for
no
almost
sense. I
every
asked
single.
you, what is
No,
Nat Phillips
because this is
better
the
at
thing.
than Maguire?
This
Nothing.
whole this mistake prone thing is real. Yeah.
Name me. Can you name me
Only got the
3
two
Maguire
full hat.
mistakes that have led to goals this season?
Say again.
Can you name me 3 or 4
Google it.
mistakes that Maguire's made if he's so injury prone that have led to goals?
All I'd have to do is name you 3 or 4 opposition goals that they've scored against Man United. Are you really telling me the goals Man United concede are not down to Harry Maguire?
Not always, no.
Not always.
Man, you're gonna
but
come
that's-
on.
no,
You're blaming every
every
goal.
Hang on.
Every single goal.
Notice how you lot just said not always because he's
Yeah,
at fault
no,
for a lot of them.
No, that's not it. That's not it. It's because I remember 2 mistakes that he made. I remember 2 mistakes that he made, particularly in the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
But overall, since probably
The 6-1.
mid-November, December,
he's been
I
really
would say
steady.
he's been fine.
Yeah,
But then
he's
this
been fine.
brings-
Every
this
defender
brings
makes
back
a
my point.
mistake anyway.
Yeah, every
Sonny,
defender
Sonny,
makes a
Back
mistake.
to my point.
Sonny, by your logic, I can name you mistakes Van Dijk made before he got injured.
Against
this
Leeds,
still
for
brings it
example,
back-
against Patrick Bamford.
This still
Against-
brings it back to my point.
Or
So
against Aston Villa.
Maguire's had plenty of patches of bad form at Man United. Plenty, many, yeah.
How
Nat
many
Phillips
do you
hasn't had
reckon?
one.
Yeah, because
Well,
he's
what-
literally. Oh, Nat Phillips is literally playing for half the season.
If Nat Phillips is just performing average,
But he's
but
not. He's
Maguire has
well above
but,
average.
hold on. But Maguire has dipped like once. It doesn't mean Nat Phillips is better than Maguire. I don't think Nat Phillips is going to that Man United team.
You
and
believe
have,
Maguire's dipped once?
Nat Phillips cannot go into that Man United team and have them second in the league and in a Europa League semi-final up until he got injured.
Well, why don't we look at the other ways? Maguire coming in and doing what Phillips has done last few months. Not in my opinion.
He does more.
Yes.
Not do more. Oh my life. He would not do
Wait,
more.
Sonny, there's a reason why once you guys had your injuries with Van Dijk and Gomez and the rest, there's a reason why Klopp was playing Fabinho in that centre back, and he wasn't trusting Nat Phillips and Williams or whatever.
That was a well-known mistake, Prime. Like he's literally came out and said he made a mistake by doing that.
Okay, fine. So I think we should put Klopp on Fraudwatch then. Anyway, guys, do we all agree that Nat Phillips is do you all agree with Nat Phillips? We're moving on from this. Do we all agree with Nat
Sonny
Phillips?
should be put on Fraudwatch for that take. I think.
No.
Okay.
You if you don't rate Phillips, you should be on Fraudwatch. Honestly,
Listen,
I do
if
not.
Nat Phillips starts next season, I'll make a song for him.
But wait, Samuel, we're just everyone just a yes or no, just yes or no. We're moving on from this. Do you agree,
No,
Samuel?
I don't agree.
I don't agree.
No.
Hell
No.
No. Well,
I can agree. I can agree with what he's done to help out Liverpool, but up until he has to. But one of the things is like, why can't players just be good? Why do players have to be good in comparison to somebody else to
But
elevate?
that wasn't my point though.
Well, actually, that was actually his fraud, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't his fraud watch. But I do remember that this started whenever Sonny said on the terrace that Nat Phillips has done more for Liverpool than Harry Maguire has ever done for Manchester United, and that fuels his argument. So it may not be his fraud watch, but that fuels his argument, and I disagree with that because there's no basis for it.
all right, cool.
Thank you,
fine.
Sonny.
All right, fine. That's amazing. Thank you, Sonny. We all agree that Klopp is the main issue for Liverpool, and he's a fraud. Thank you, Sonny.
He'll be back in the morning.
He's worse than David Luiz, worse than Gabriel, worse than Saliba, worse than
I'm not letting you embarrass yourself on stream. But yeah, anyway, since you were talking Was, let's go to you, Samuel.
Okay, so before we go to the next one, it's my turn for Fraudwatch. And well, an avid Fraudwatch, I think it's going to be a world record, apart from Liverpool and Arsenal. I think this team will come in third place. Tottenham Hotspur is going in Fraudwatch again. And I'll tell you the reason. The simple reason is, these men, throughout the season, okay, let's go back to 2019, 2020, last year. They came in, Jose Mourinho was manager. He was doing quite well. He was winning games. He beat Man City 2-0. Unluckily got knocked out by Norwich in the FA Cup and penalties. Anything can happen in penalties. They come back. He takes them from a mid-table finish to a top 6 finish, okay? And now, they come into the next season, they get some decent players in, they're playing liquid football in a title race. But you know what? Tottenham Hotspur happens. They not bottle it, the players bottle it, Jose did not bottle it, okay? And then they used a couple of games, they had the audacity to say, oh, Jose out, Jose this, Jose that. Listen. Go back, you got a cup final now, okay? Jose, for this crappy Tottenham squad, okay? He has you in 7th. At best, he should be 11th or 12th, as shown by results now. Okay, you sack him 6 days before cup final. The biggest game you had, okay, one of your biggest games in your history. You sack him.
2 points off 4th, by the way.
Exactly, 2 points off 4th. The biggest game probably since the Champions League final. One of the biggest games in of this generation. They sack him. They bring in Ryan Mason, and now they thought they were big balls. They thought they were this big club. They said, you know what? I'm gonna go for Ten Hag. They go for Ten Hag. He doesn't want to come to Tottenham Hotspur. They go for Max Allegri. As Prime said, he learned English. He was doing English lessons just to reject Tottenham. That's what he did. Then we go now. As this slides into the Nuno thing, okay? Okay, Nuno Espirito Santo is worse in every single way than Jose Mourinho. He ain't got the hair. He ain't got the look. Actually, I won't go to the looks, but he ain't got the hair. He ain't got the Portuguese sauce. He ain't got nothing. And you know what? I hope Tottenham beat him. I hope they stick with Ryan Mason because they disrespect the game to the greatest man, one of the greatest managers of all time. I think it's the Tottenham
No,
way.
the greatest.
Better than Fergie. Better than Fergie.
No, we're
Better
playing
than
the
Fergie.
Tottenham.
Or
We play the Tottenham way. He's not playing the Tottenham way. No, I don't want to play the Tottenham way. What is the Tottenham way then? The bottling finals then. That's what the Tottenham way is. Tottenham will forever be a mediocre joke of a club as long as their fans wake up. Their fans need to wake up. The fans need to wake up. Small the coffee, okay? Tottenham Hotspur FC, Tottenham Hotspur fans, Nuno. I hope Nuno becomes the manager, okay? And I hope you get relegated, okay? Not okay. I didn't say that.
Are they cheats as well, Samuel? Are they cheats? Are they
No, no,
cheats?
no.
You hope?
They're just ignorant. It's the height of it. Alex, I'm calling out Alex right now here on forward. Alex, I love you, but you.
He's not watching this, Samuel. He's not
no,
watching.
Alex is not the problem, bro.
No.
You on about the Tottenham fan, Alex?
Yeah, okay, he's part of the problem. Tottenham fans are part of the
I
problem.
prefer.
But Alex
not
wanted
to.
Jose to stay because there was no one better than him. I swear.
No, but
Yeah, that's true.
There's a person's name I wouldn't. Actually, no, I won't even say anything related to that person. Listen, they were in this Jose hype train, okay? Oh, Jose hype train, and look what's happened now. It's come back to bite you. No manager wants to come and join your shitty club, okay? All you're gonna get is Nuno at best. And you deserve every single one.
literally-
I hope Harry Kane leaves. Harry Kane, please leave. That farewell, listen, he deserves better. As I'm an Arsenal fan, he deserves better. Go Man City, go Chelsea, where you actually win a trophy. Go Arsenal, go Ajax, go anywhere. Just go. Harry, just
Sure,
go.
you can win something at Arsenal, to be fair. So
Alright, so
I'll give him that.
sorry to go on a rant, Prime, but listen, Tottenham Hotspur, you deserve this. Fraud watch, the biggest fraud of the season. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, you're going in. Yeah. I mean,
Wait a minute. Tottenham got rejected by Hansi Flick as well.
yep.
Wait, who?
Oh, another one. Hansi Flick.
This-
Apparently,
What?
according to Fabrizio Romano, he was one of the candidates, but he's joining Germany.
What now?
3 hours ago.
Wait, Will, I swear Zidane said he wanted to leave, and then he was linked to Spurs, and he said he wants to stay.
Okay, no, but listen. No. I want to go on. Listen. Oh no, we can get Ten Hag. We can get Hansi Flick. We can get Ralph Ragnick. They all rejected you. You're gonna get stuck with Nuno Espirito Santo, a man worse than Jose in every single way. And you know what? I'm looking to the camera right now. You deserve everything. I don't care. This is karma. You disrespected one of the greatest managers of all time. He took a step down to join the Tin Pot Club.
Better than Wenger.
No,
Better than
I ain't gonna
Wenger.
get into that. He
Say
took
it,
a step
Samuel.
down.
Say it, Samuel. Better than Wenger.
I'm not gonna say shit, okay? I'm gonna say Jose's perfect record, winning a trophy at every club he's been to, winning a trophy at every single club he's been to, is now gone because of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have put a stain on Jose Mourinho's legacy, and you know what? That's embarrassing. It's disgusting, and I think that's all I have to say.
Disgusting.
It is despicable. It's blasphemy. Tottenham Hotspur, I can't stand them now. They had the guts to play Tottenham way, and you have Jose Mourinho. Get out. Hopefully, you go mid-table with Graham Potter next season. 16th place, 15th place, 14th place. That's where you belong. Before Jose, before all this golden year of Tottenham, where you get top 4 Champions League final and won nothing. You got nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. 0 trophies, Prime. Not even a Community Shield. Not even a League Cup to show for it. You look back at 50 years, you say, man, what an era. Just 4th place, 3rd place finishes. Well, that was the Tottenham way. The Tottenham way right there. And I'll bring the next caller. Listen, bring on. O'Shea, you really saying this? O'Shea, I thought you were on my side, O'Shea. Alright, now forget O'Shea, man. Forget his comments.
I mean, he's got a point.
I'm just saying it
He has a very
as a
good
level-headed
point,
person.
actually.
Do you guys all agree? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What about Tottenham?
Yeah.
It is pretty
Well, there
embarrassing
was-
what they're doing right now.
They are as
Yeah,
bad
it's
as
pretty
Arsenal.
bad.
So look, if I give Arsenal the same smoke that I do, I like to be consistent, unlike Premier League referees. So because I give Arsenal that smoke, I have to give Tottenham that smoke. But look, North London doing their team proud in the championship.
Nah.
Yeah, all right, cool. Samuel came with the Vim. Anyway, next one we've got Igal.
Oh, Prime.
You good?
I'm not next. You got
We'll bring in
Nippon.
Nippon.
Oh, okay,
Bring in
okay.
Nippon. He's been here for
Sorry.
a while.
Hi, Nippon. You good?
Are you
Hi.
you're at Heathrow right now? Are you Amsterdam? You're in Amsterdam, aren't you?
No, Terminal 5, Heathrow Airport.
Okay, I knew I was at Heathrow. I could tell by the wall.
How could you tell?
You said
I-
Amsterdam.
I said Heathrow first. Listen.
How could you tell? How could you
Because
tell?
look at the I could look at the ceiling. Look at the walls. Those are Heathrow walls.
Yeah, arrivals, Terminal 5.
Listen, Nif, I don't know what you're doing at Heathrow Airport. You're coming to pick up Lionel Messi to sign him to Chelsea or Erling Haaland.
Nah. Look, man. My best friend's a Tottenham fan, so I can't give them any slander.
Ah,
I can.
Sorry,
Yeah,
who's your forward, Nippon?
maybe
My
because
cat's
he's
a
not.
Tottenham
Maybe
fan.
because you don't have a best friend who's a Tottenham fan. But okay, my fraud. God, a lot of people will kill me in the comments for this.
Go on.
Brendan Rodgers.
ah.
All he had to do.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Wait,
I'm
what?
sorry. We're not doing this. We can't have Brendan Rodgers. I'm sorry. No.
No, fine. It's his fraud. Let him speak.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, Nippon, carry on.
I was in Hounslow earlier on, believe it or not. But we move. Yeah. Again, look. All he had to do was beat us in on Tuesday to get top 4, and he's about to bottle it again.
He beat you in the cup final the 3 days earlier.
I was literally about to say
True.
that.
3 days
They
and
beat
he
you in
beat
the
you in the
cup
cup
final.
final. How's he ball? I'm lost.
That's
I've lost it.
oh
I'm
god, that's
confused.
exactly why I didn't want to say Brendan Rodgers, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I thought he'd get top 4 this season. Honestly,
Is that
But you won a
dangerous,
trophy. You won the FA Cup. I mean, FA Cup was more valuable than the top 4 finish. I mean, the first.
Well,
ever-
an Arsenal fan would say that, but yeah.
but still,
That's true.
okay, still, yeah, still he's look. If they look, although I value the FA Cup, but if Leicester wants to stay an attractive proposition, they need to be challenging for the Champions League places.
Mhm.
And Brendan Rodgers has done it again 2 seasons in a row. Look, FA Cup, great, you've won it, but the players want Champions League football.
To be fair, they can still make top 4, can't they? Mathematically speaking.
Yeah,
I mean,
mathematically speaking, but they're going to have to ship 4 past Tottenham and
Easy.
keep a clean sheet.
well, that's assuming that obviously Liverpool win their
And
game
that's
as well.
assuming Liverpool lose that game, which I highly doubt. Yeah, it's not looking
I don't
good
think it happened in
for...
football.
But
But
Nippon,
Yeah,
by
and it's
you
gonna
saying
have
that, you're assuming that Chelsea beat Villa and it's at Villa Park with fans, and Villa
Yeah,
Park is
but
not
look,
an
I'm
easy
not-
place to go to.
Look, I'm not. When did I ever say it was an easy place to go to? When did I ever say
No,
that?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
I
it's
think
not the
Nippon, look
it's
at
not in the bag, is it?
look at, for example, I think like for example
I know
Nuno
all of this.
leaving leaving Wolves and stuff. I think a lot of teams who are trying to build this project need to look at Spurs and look at the failings from it. I think Levy kept, for example, he kept Poch too long when that team was in their prime and could have pushed on to win the league, because Poch never actually challenged for the cups and tried to win something and
Look
build a
at what he's
mentality.
doing in.
Rodgers
Look at what he's doing in
Rodgers
League
has
One.
won. Yeah, it's terrible, but Rodgers has won the FA Cup. So even if he doesn't make top 4 this season, I don't think that's a bit of a problem, because next season they will make top 4. And they
Well,
can push again the following season. Who knows what they can do? At least they've won
True.
something. This collective group, even if in the next
True.
2 years
Okay,
it fails and it falls apart,
I'll
they've
revert.
won something.
I'll choose someone else. I'll choose someone else.
That's a third chance, Nippin. Your third
No, no,
vote.
Nippon,
no
if
one
he's
seems to be-
if he's your fraud, that's fine. We don't have to agree with it. But if it's your fraud, then just state your fraud and own it.
Yeah.
Say it with chest.
There's not.
Look,
Trust
I'm
me,
just saying,
Nippin. There's
people
not going to
want-
be many that agree with mine, so you don't need to worry.
All I'm saying is that most of those players will want Champions League football, and if they keep bottling it year in year out, you know what I mean.
I hear that.
And the
I hear that.
And winning the FA Cup brings you Europa League, not Champions League.
But it's still a trophy. I mean, it's silverware. They'll
Yeah.
always look back on it.
But honestly, okay, put yourselves. Would you rather play Champions? Look, if you're a footballer, would you rather play Champions League football or Europa League football?
Europa
No.
Conference League.
Oh,
Nippin.
God.
I think
I'd
that
rather
for
win
Leicester,
trophies, if
look,
I'm being honest.
I was just about to say for a team like Leicester that about 5 years ago, no one would have ever said that Leicester were going to be in Europe, let alone in the Europa
Premier
League or
League.
Champions League.
5 years ago, they were battling
Leicester,
relegation.
and we have to remember what the FA Cup means to a lot of these teams. Leicester have been in these FA Cup finals where they've lost and they've tried so hard to win them. They've actually finally managed to win one. So look, they would prefer both, but I actually think they'll be quite satisfied with the FA Cup. I think they will. I don't fully know, but if I was Leicester, I wouldn't be too upset with just an FA Cup. FA Cup and
Well, honestly, neither would I.
Europa
Would I.
League.
But wouldn't you want a Champions League spot to go with it? Just asking. So that
Yeah,
you're not beating your best players.
I just said that I would prefer both, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't be too upset if it was just an FA Cup, because I also know what the FA Cup means to a lot of these teams, like the Leicesters, like Villas, and all of these other teams, not the elite teams. I know what it means for them to win an FA Cup, because, mate, I get excited if we get to a third round and we draw a top team. So I know what the FA Cup means to a lot of these teams, which I think for the elite teams is sort of forgotten about. Because I do think for the elite teams, the magic of the cup is lost.
That's true, no, as well. If you look at all the older generation of Leicester supporters as well, that they've watched the FA Cup for years and years, and it's something to the older generation, especially. It's a very special thing in the UK. It's a prestigious
generation.
Look, I rate the FA Cup, even though I'm 27 years old. I rate the FA Cup.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
But look.
Oh, I'm on camera?
Oh, yeah, here you
You have no
go.
idea how many.
Hey,
You have no idea how many people disrespect the FA Cup, man. You honestly have no idea.
you just did just now by saying that. You just did it just now by saying that.
No, I hear what he's saying about the Champions League. If you're in that position, you want to secure Champions League, but I think we also have to be realistic. For a club like Leicester,
I'm just saying,
to win the FA Cup is a magic.
Look, let's be realistic. They're not going to win it next season.
Listen, I want to say something about what he said. I agree with you, mate. If they bottle top four, which they are in prime position to, you guys should be speaking about Brendan Rodgers as a fraud, even though they've won the FA Cup. Because you want to know why? They were in the top four more than every other team besides Man City and Manchester United. They spent in the top four. They spent the most days in the top four out of all the teams in the league, barring two teams. And if they finish fifth, that has to be considered one of the biggest bottle jobs this season.
Yeah, but you have to look at context, don't you? They've been without James Justin, who's been injured because of an ACL. Harvey Barnes was injured, and Harvey Barnes was one of their most prolific forwards going into.
He's not a striker. He's a.
So was Didi as well. Didi was.
He doesn't have to be.
Niall bury his own grave and then get him afterwards.
Well, no, I won't be, because firstly, on that comment that he's not a striker.
Oh my God.
Neither is
Continue
Salah.
your argument.
One minute. So But on the comment that Harvey Barnes isn't a striker, well, yeah, you are correct, but neither is Mohamed Salah, and he's, I think, Liverpool's top goal scorer. So, I mean, you don't just have to be a striker to get the goals for your club. Look, they've had a few
They're
injuries.
no
They've had
further
a
than
fair few
Sergio
injuries.
Ramos.
And we also have to take into account that the depth at Leicester isn't the same as some of these top teams, right? There's not the squad depth at Leicester City. And look, they need to improve on that. And I've always said that at some point there's going to come a time that Brendan Rodgers and Leicester have to get across that final line. But when you're injuries to players like James Justin and Harvey Barnes, who have been crucial to you, then for me, I don't think you can blame it on this season.
Okay, stop right there. First things first. Harvey Barnes' point irrelevant. Okay, in my opinion, because everybody gets injuries. Everybody gets injuries. So let's stop.
We'll take Saka out of Arsenal and see how you do then, shall we?
Yeah. Do that. I don't care. At the end of the day, if you're a big club or if you're any club in world football, you get injuries. It's normal. And if we have injuries and we talk about it, you guys say suck it up. So at the end of the day,
because you've spent millions on, you've literally spent 45 million on Thomas Partey, which Leicester would never do.
There's a
you spent
bit of a
30 million
difference
on
between
Gabriel.
Leicester and Arsenal.
That's not what I'm talking about. We're not comparing it to Arsenal.
Pepe. It's different.
Listen, we're not comparing Leicester to Arsenal. We're comparing actual
Wait a minute, Egal. Wait a minute. You always go on
and I'm
about
backing his point.
You always go on about how Arsenal are this massive club and London's red, but then you compare yourself to Leicester's squad. That makes no sense.
What are you talking about? I'm saying,
say when it's Arsenal, why are you comparing yourself to Leicester if you're this massive club? You're saying that, but when it's Arsenal, you say you're bottle jobs. Yes, because you're meant to be this massive club. Leicester are not this massive club. They have a limited squad and don't spend much money. See, of course, it's different.
Okay, first of all, who muted me? And second of all, right? Well, respectfully, I don't know what you're talking about, man.
What do you mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're comparing it to Arsenal.
You're getting stuck on You're getting stuck on semantics. I said everybody in the league gets injuries. Okay, every single team in the league gets injuries.
And then you said if it's
Arsenal, you don't know when you're gonna get injuries. You don't know when you're gonna get lucky, right? The point about Brendan Rodgers is he's been mathematically in the top 4 the whole entire season, stamped. Last season,
then he got his injuries.
The whole entire season.
Then he got
at the end of the season, when it matters the most, and they need to just get over the line to keep that solidified Champions League spot, they weren't able to get over the hurdle.
I just don't understand when you lose the likes of James Justin, Harvey Barnes, and even James Maddison. I just don't understand how you don't understand how that's going to cause a drop off. Take out Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and flame in, I don't know, Maguire out of United, and I swear the drop off is going to be brutal.
I mean,
you take out Saka, Partey, and Gabriel out of Arsenal, the drop off is going to be brutal. So Leicester have suffered injuries to players that were playing very well. James Maddison, one of their top players, Barnes in the best form of his career. James Justin, equally in the best form of his career. That is obviously going to cause a drop-off. When you've got other teams, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of United, that have these bigger squads that are able to compete better, then of course they're going to overtake you. That is a completely natural thing. That's not Brendan Rodgers.
Did they bottle top 4? Yes or no?
They haven't yet, actually.
They did bottle top 4.
Not yet.
Well, if they don't get it, yeah.
If they get top 4, he is not a bottle job. If they do get top 4, he's a fraud because at the end of the day, the whole season it's in their own hands. The whole season it's in their own grasp. I'm not talking about their injuries. I'm not talking about what caused the drop off. I can see what caused the drop off. But at the end of the day, as a manager, as a team, if you are in a position where you control your own destiny the whole entire season, and at the last hurdle you fall off,
I think okay. You could say that Leicester bought it. I don't think it's on Brendan Rodgers though. I think that's on how.
Who's the manager?
But it's not the manager.
It's
not the manager that puts the funds into the playing squad. It's not the manager that miraculously decides I'm going to have £200 million and I'm going to go get squad depth, else Mikel Arteta arguably wouldn't be sitting ninth. He'd be sitting in the
Stop
top
comparing
four.
Leicester to Arsenal with
I'm-
your argument. It's
Okay,
irrelevant.
I'll compare it to
Oh.
Ollie then. It's not as if Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer at the start of the season says, I'm just going to have £200 million, so I'm going to go buy myself some good players. These managers are constricted by the money that is given to them by their owners. So it's not Brendan Rodgers' fault that he is. And Miguel, you should be the one who knows this the most, especially with your owner. Like with your owner and United's owner, the two most biggest clubs that are constricted by their owners financially, you should understand this more than anyone. The fact that it's not Brendan Rodgers that decides his budget at the start of the year.
Why is it that you guys saying it's not right to pick Brendan Rodgers as a fraud because he won the FA Cup?
Because he's won the FA
it's
Cup,
elements
and his
of
target,
that,
his expectation and his target is to get Europa League football. So no, he hasn't bottled his goal.
Okay,
And he's won a
so
trophy.
his target might be Europa League football, but if if Champions League is in his grasp and they slip away at the last second, as a manager, is he not responsible for that?
Then Leicester, as a club, should give him a squad which can afford to have injuries and still have
question, Igal, by that, does that standard or logic, does that apply for other managers then? So for example, Chelsea could still bottle top four. So if we lose at the weekend and we don't get top four, and then we lose the Champions League final, so we're not getting Champions League next season, Tuchel's also a fraud, yes or no?
Yeah, Tuchel bottled it last second.
Okay, cool.
I disagree.
I know.
Let Prime speak.
I have other questions. Okay, so that's fine. If is Arteta then also a fraud as well?
Bro, you've been calling Arteta a fraud.
Let me finish. I'm literally using what you're using. Your logic with Rodgers, I'm using the same thing. Is Arteta a fraud? Because if his remit was to get back into Champions League football and he got knocked out in the semi-final, is he then a fraud? Yes or no? I'm using your logic, by the way.
Listen, if Tuchel does not win the Champions League,
yes or no?
If Tuchel does not win the Champions League and he does not win the FA Cup and he does not get top four,
yes or no?
That is the definition of a fraud, in my opinion.
Okay, we already answered the Tuchel. We already answered the Tuchel point.
Right?
Get onto the Arteta one.
Arteta has already been a fraud all season. Why are we bringing this up again?
Because you
didn't I think we need to move on.
Because I know we will, but you've been defending the Arteta thing. But I'm using your logic with Rodgers, by the way, which I don't agree with the Rodgers thing. I'm using your logic.
Tea in China. No one's talking about tea in China.
Yeah, I'm using your logic. here. And you can't answer it because you're trying to twist things. That's fine, whatever. So we can move on from the Rodgers thing. Nippin, thank you for coming on, bro.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Have a good flight.
Man.
Wait, what?
He got kicked himself. I didn't do it. He kicked himself.
Why did he leave? Did you mute him?
Yeah, because I was talking and I was trying to move on.
Right. Okay. We'll bring in JB. JB has been waiting for ages. Bless him.
Right.
JB, you there?
Oh, yeah. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Doing well.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. My two frauds. Yeah, I've got two frauds. So they're both in the Tottenham team. It's the left back Sergio Reguilon. Yeah, I think he was awful, absolutely awful against Villa. That own goal, just put it in the wrong net. It was a good finish, great finish, just in the wrong net. And then also for the second goal, I don't know what the hell he was doing. Like it just kicked it straight to like Ollie Watkins, and then Villa scored. I mean, he's been pretty bad all season really. And then Eric Dyer. I mean, the fact that Ryan Mason keeps picking him is just an absolute joke. Like Eric Dyer, and I think it's quite laughable that he might even get into the England team. Like Gareth Southgate might
say
even.
That.
Might
I've been blocking
him.
that out of my mind. Please stop saying Eric Dyer in England. It upsets me deeply.
They've both got to be the frauds. And then on the Brendan Rodgers point, like I get it. Like it's very possible that Leicester might not get top four again, and to do that 2 seasons in a row, when they really should have been in top four, that's very bad. I wouldn't say he's a complete bottle job. Obviously, I can't say that when he's just won an FA Cup. And like we need to have some context here, because this is Leicester City's first ever FA Cup win, so it's huge in like the for the history of the club. And I think from a Leicester City point of view, winning a trophy such as the FA Cup is more of an achievement than getting top four. I mean, I know that they want to get Champions League, but it's not because of the Chelsea result that they might miss out on top four. They've been poor for a while. They've been very inconsistent. It was like, don't you remember, like they lost to West Ham a few weeks ago? They got absolutely thumped by Newcastle United. Like they were 4-0 down at one point. I mean, that was extremely embarrassing. And when you look at their defenders, like Wesley Fofana, Soyuncu, Johnny Evans, you'd expect them to do a lot better. You'd expect them to do much better against Newcastle with an attack with Joe Linton and Callum Wilson. But still, they obviously, like, I know they made a lot of mistakes in that game as well, and that contributed to their loss. But so yeah, I wouldn't say Brendan Rodgers has been a bottle job. And obviously, like, you know, they just won an FA Cup final. Like the players must have been feeling like really good. I don't know exactly like what kind of like how well they prepared for the Chelsea game, but obviously like for Chelsea it was like they were obviously like really motivated to win that game to get revenge, because it would have been embarrassing if Chelsea had lost against Leicester if they hadn't won. So it would what I'm trying to say is that it would have been very difficult for Leicester to like just play the same opponents again like in a short period of time, like just a few days after the cup final, like playing the same opponent. Like I could understand why it'd be a bit difficult. But like going back to Tottenham, I just feel like it's their defense. Their defense is appalling. It's not good enough. And I do feel really sorry for Harry Kane. I'm not surprised he wants to leave because he deserves a lot better. Because when you play in a team like that with that back four, it's I mean, what do you expect? You're going to be losing games. It's not good enough. You can't expect Harry Kane to win you games on his own. It's just not fair. It's not football doesn't work like that. Like you can't just. He's not Diego Maradona. He can't win it all on his own, can he? He's had an excellent season, Harry Kane. He scored like like loads of goals, like 22 goals a season. He's been excellent. Deserves a big transfer to another club. There's obviously a lot of speculation about where he might end up in the summer. But obviously, we all know that Daniel Levy is not going to let him leave for cheap. He's going to have a very hefty price tag. But that defense is awful. And if Tottenham Hotspur want to have any hope of getting into Europe, they're going to need to invest in some proper defenders. If you look at their back four, like their right back is like Matt Doherty from signed from Wolves. Yeah, he's another fraud. I mean, he's just. I don't know how good he was at Wolves, but I mean at Spurs he hasn't really cut it. He hasn't been that good. Serge Aurier is it's a bit on and off. Like sometimes he can score a goal like out of nowhere, but I don't know. Like I've heard Tottenham fans complaining about him. Toby Alderweireld, I think out of all the defenders they have left, Spurs have left, like he's probably the best one out of all of them. But even then, he's getting quite old now. He's aging. He doesn't have the legs anymore. He's getting older and slower. He's not like the Toby Alderweireld from 2017. I remember like when Spurs were last of the old when they had the old White Hart Lane before they moved to Wembley. Like that's when Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen were really good. They were excellent. I think Tottenham finished second that season in 2017 when they had Poch. So they were actually like defensively a lot better back then. I remember Man United were linked to Alderweireld. We wanted to sign him. I know Jose Mourinho wanted to sign him.
Yeah, he did.
But obviously Sergio Reguilon. I think Manchester United wanted to sign him, and I'm now looking back at it. I'm really glad we didn't get him because he just hasn't been good enough. And he definitely, even if he wasn't at United, I don't think he would have replaced Luke Shaw because of how good he's been, like consistently week in week out. Like we've seen what that Alex Telles is the backup option. he hasn't been able to get into the United squad. Luke Shaw has been just too good. I know they've got Tanganga. He's like I haven't seen much of him. I think he's a player for the future. He's like he's not as bad as the other ones, but like Alderweireld, yeah, he's getting old. Reguilon, Dyer, Eric Dyer. I do not understand why Ryan Mason picks him week in, week out. I just think it's probably, Ryan Mason. He just picks his mates. I think that's all he does. Yeah, Ryan Mason's a bit of a fraud as well. I know this sounds a bit harsh since he's a very inexperienced manager. He's young. Like Alderweireld is older than Ryan Mason. Ryan Mason's only 29 years old. I know it's very harsh, and the fact that he was in charge of the Tottenham squad in a cup final in one of their biggest games in the last decade is just absolutely ridiculous. I think the Tottenham board are a bunch of frauds as well for sacking Jose Mourinho just a few days before the cup final. I mean, that was an absolutely ludicrous decision. And I'm going really hard on Tottenham Hotspur at the moment. But honestly, their fans are just really, like, they've been suffering for so long. It's been 30
Hey, Jay,
years
can
since
I
they
ask
last
you a
won a
question
trophy.
real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Is the issue with the Tottenham back four an issue of ability or an issue of lacking, is it an issue of ability or is it an issue of like lack of options, like not being backed? Because a few years ago, some of the players in that Tottenham back line were a part of one of the best defenses in Europe. And
only one. Though,
well, now Alderweireld, yeah, but I remember like that partnership of Alderweireld and Vertonghen like was like nearly untouchable for years, and I think that, and even like Eric Dyer was playing well a few years back as well, and I wonder what the real issue is with some of those players in that Tottenham back line. I mean, some players have come and gone and changed some, but I'm curious what you think about that. If the issue is ability or if it's something else.
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. Like, I can understand like the ability when it comes to ability, because I just think some of those players are just simply not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like even under like a good coach like Maurizio Pochettino, some of them were not very good. Like with Tottenham, like they were good at times, but they just weren't quite good enough to get over the line and win the trophies in the end. Like they'd get to semi-finals and the cup competitions. They got to a Champions League final, but in the end, it didn't happen for them. I mean that it wasn't completely the defense's fault why they didn't win, but some of those players like Eric Dyer and Jan Vertonghen, I think obviously he got a lot old, and that's what Mourinho got rid of him because he just wasn't good enough anymore. And then also I think it's to do with the backing as well, like there was in 2019 Spurs didn't sign any players, did they? So the fact that they got to a final was an amazing achievement without
I
any
think that crushed
investment
that
in the
project
squad.
more than anything else. Personally, like I think the reason that they didn't progress under Pochettino had to do with that 1 year when he got no new players in. I think if they were doing so well, they were on the cusp of breaking through as a squad. You've got to back your manager, and I think for me, like that set up Jose Mourinho for failure, because now he's picking up a team at a different point in their cycle of development as a squad, which is going to be harder for him to work with than it would have been if Mauricio Pochettino would have if he would have gotten a couple of players that summer going into that year. I personally think he would have kept his job. Personally speaking, I think the reason he got fired was on the back of using a team that he couldn't even rotate because they didn't have any depth to begin with, and I think that like a lot of those players in that Tottenham side, it's amazing how quickly it goes from your really young team to okay, like where's this team going now, and for me, like that Tottenham team those players were let down by their owners. In my opinion, like you can't have a team where you don't bring any fresh faces in go to a Champions League final, and then watch them slowly decline in ability as a result. Like for me, it was just horrendous. Tottenham started to change up their philosophy of management too soon. They started trying to hold on to assets longer because they thought that they were solidified to a point where they could jump forward after they had consistently gotten into the top four. And now they're kind of back to square one, looking for a manager who can take on this project and retool the team to get them going again. It's just really sad. Like I hate it. I hate it for a lot of those players because they were brought in to a project where they could thrive, and then their board let them down.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
No,
I
I
hear
completely
that. I
agree
hear
with
that.
you. It's like
I hear that.
with we like just for example, look at Manchester City side. They have so much strength in depth, so much. Pepper's able to rotate his squad so easily, and especially in the big games like against Man City, he was able to use a couple of his bench players and leave some of his best players on the bench, and he was still able to get a result. And it's hard to do that when your board don't provide the funds to sign, top quality players, because in the current market it's very inflated. You have to spend like a lot of money now to sign decent players. So if you don't have the funds, it's going to be very hard to compete. And Tottenham have struggled because of that. It doesn't help when you're bored and unable to provide the funds and to provide the financial support that you require in order to succeed. And I'm not surprised that fans of all these big six clubs have been protesting. They're unhappy with the owners because like it's quite shocking how over the last 10 years Man City's owners they've like pumped in £1 billion into the football club, whereas the Glazers have taken the same amount of money out of Manchester United. It's just quite shocking, really. Like we don't even the Glazers, they don't even spend money on fixing the roof of Old Trafford, so it's absolutely ridiculous.
I agree.
And when you have like a serious injury, like if Harry Kane gets injured, who are you going to replace him with? That's going to get you the same amount of goals, because Harry Kane has shown that he can score 20 plus goals consistently, like each season. But there isn't any other player in the team that scores the same number of goals, really. He gets injured, he's out for a couple of months. What are you going to do? Seriously, what will Tottenham do?
Well, according to
They'll
Talksport, you're going
panic
to go get Tammy
Tammy Abraham. I mean, come on, he can't even get into Chelsea B team, or he can't even make. Sometimes doesn't even make the bench for the Chelsea team. So it's ridiculous. Like like this, what's his name? Son Heung-min. He's an excellent player, but he thrives more when Harry Kane is in the team. But on his own, I've noticed he doesn't do as well. But when Kane is there, like they link up very well together. At the start of the season, they were both assisting each other, getting goals. They were excelling. They were doing really well together. But you take one out, then the other one struggles. I mean, if you take Son out, Kane will be fine. If you take Kane out, then I think Son will struggle. That's what I'm saying. So if Kane leaves, I feel like Son will be out the door as well. I know Son is very close with Dele Alli, but I think like when Jose was still manager, Ali wanted to go to PSG. I wouldn't be surprised though if Kane like goes abroad and joins PSG, like if he wants to get reunited with Poch. But I think he will want to beat Alan Shearer's goal scoring record in the Premier League. He can easily do that. If he's at Man City and with Kevin De Bruyne assisting him, he's going to be banging in like goals left, right, and centre. He'll easily get like 25 goals plus per season. He came out and said that it would be a joy to play in the same team as Kevin De Bruyne. Like it'd be amazing having a player, playing all those balls and assisting you all the time. Because Kevin De Bruyne is very good at getting assists. So I can easily see Harry Kane going to Man City. And I know we all laugh at Harry Kane saying, "Oh, you're so good. You score all these goals in the league, but you haven't won any trophies." The reality is he hasn't won any trophies because the team he plays in is absolutely rubbish. Was bang average, really.
Yeah, it's crazy though because they had the potential, as you guys said. Like they could have built a team that would be able to challenge if Daniel Levy wasn't such an asshole, to be honest with you. But yeah, thank you for your fraud. There were so many frauds in there, to be fair, and it was all Tottenham related. So I'm pretty sure everyone here liked
I
it.
went a bit hard on Tottenham. Sorry, Tottenham fans.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
they deserve it.
Daniel Levy is the biggest of them all. Like, is it any surprise that the three clubs that are in the biggest disarray at the moment are Spurs, United, and Arsenal in terms of not doing what they're meant to do? So United are meant to win trophies. They're not doing that because the Glazers are there. Arsenal are meant to try and act like a big club, but they're sat in 9th or 10th, one or two. Sorry, Guna. And Tottenham are just, well, God knows what you even say about them.
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite funny. Arsenal could even finish above Spurs.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That's
That would
actually
be
mad
really
when you
interesting.
think about it. Like if Spurs lose against Leicester and Arsenal win, I think they'll go above Tottenham. Yeah, just
Yeah,
mental.
exactly.
Yeah, I can't wait to win that trophy, the being above Spurs trophy.
St. Potteringham's Day or whatever it's called. Yeah.
I'm being
Would that be
sarcastic.
enough
of
to
course,
make you?
'cause it's
Would
not
that
an
be enough to
achievement,
make you Arteta in? What an achievement!
to be honest, Niall, I've already said I'm not even going to
Arsenal
celebrate
are
it.
back.
Like, it should be something to celebrate being above
Yes,
Tottenham. But as
Rachel, you know.
I've said it many times, right, with Arsenal, we celebrate being above Tottenham as if it's like a difficulty. We should be expecting to be above Tottenham every single season. That should just be a general expectation. The fact that we haven't done that the last few years is more embarrassing than anything. So
Could you
when
imagine saying that
do
about
see us
10 years ago?
Exactly, and I do see us finishing above Tottenham because I do see us beating Brighton. I do see them either drawing or losing to Leicester. But the amount of fans, I can just tell the fans are just going to be like we've won the Champions League. It's like at the end of the day, we should be above them anyway. We should be above them anyway. It should be a general expectation. And again, this is what I'm saying. Our expectations are in the gutter because we're celebrating being above Tottenham. Like again, like you said, 10, 15 years ago, that was like just a normal thing. No one even spoke about Tottenham as a top team.
You won the league at White Hart Lane, didn't you? If I said 10 years ago, right, if I said 10 years ago to an Arsenal fan, oh, you finished Spurs this year, they'll be like, well, duh, yeah, that happens every year. Like the fact that we're even discussing it now just shows how mad Arsenal have fallen. Is peak.
That's true. But Guna, who's your fraud?
I don't know if he's been mentioned. He probably has, but Reguilon and all the Tottenham fans and rival fans that tried to say that he's better than Chilwell, tried to say he's better than Tierney, tried to say he's better than Luke Shaw. That guy is the worst of all the left backs in the top 6. I genuinely rate Zinchenko higher than that guy. He is a dead baller, and not just because he scored that really good own goal. I don't see what he does. Genuinely, I don't see what he does that's good. Like when we played them and beat them 2-1, he was so poor. Like he was so poor, and Tottenham fans were saying before the game, "Oh look, Reguilon's going to prove that he's better than Tierney today." Well, he didn't, and he still hasn't all season. And it's not just because of Tierney as well. Like, I don't rate Ben Chilwell, but some Tottenham fans were saying he's better than Chilwell. Not even almost. Why do you think Real Madrid got rid of him? Because he ain't good enough. They've got an aging Marcelo in their team. They need a new left back. They got rid of him.
I wouldn't even say he's better than Digne.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't even say
he's not
Digne.
Digne. He's so much better than that guy.
Yeah, and he's Everton.
Like that says it all to me. And it's the same kind of thing with Ødegaard, if I'm being honest. I don't rate him either, but they need a new left back, and they got rid of Reguilon. 40 million. Like,
to be
that says
fair,
it all.
I completely understand what you're saying about Reguilon, and he's been in completely awful form. But with Ødegaard, do you think it's just he hasn't had enough time to gain consistency? Because there's been some games where I've looked at him, and he's been really good, and there's been other games where he's gone missing a bit. So, would you like to keep him next year?
No, not even no. To be honest, with Ødegaard, I think it's weird because he's a good player. Like he can play a pass. We saw it against Palace. Like he can play a pass. He just doesn't. We don't need one pass every 5 or 6 games. We had that with Özil. We need someone to do it week in, week out, and also score goals on top of it. And he doesn't do that. So for 40, 50 million, which is what they value him at, I wouldn't never. Like again, as a bench player maybe, but we don't spend money like that. So
it's a lot of money to spend on him. I think a bit too much.
Exactly.
Way too much.
It's not even the whole Arsenal needs fixing. To be honest with
Yeah,
you,
exactly. We pretty much
it's
need
the
a player in
equivalent of
every
United
position.
going to get Harry Kane. It's not a hole that is
Yeah.
needing fixing. You
No,
there's
it
bigger
is
worries.
for United. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
for
but it's
United.
not.
Spending 90 million on a striker when we have so many areas to fix. I agree. But if we were to get a 40 million striker, then I'd be cool if they were,
Yeah,
decent.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of United going to splash out 120 million on Harry Kane, when you can clearly see that you could do with probably a centre back, a DM, and possibly a right winger, just to name a few positions that might need a bit of care.
Maybe
before
goalkeeper as well.
Maybe, but I don't want to be over ambitious with the Glazers. I mean, 3 players is probably a push, but you don't want to start adding 4. Like, that would
That's
be
probably more than what we're
that'd
going
be
to
a bit
get.
too
So.
much.
I'll just
Oh,
say
you'll
like
get Brent.
Pepe. I know I've like criticized Pepe before, but I actually think he's a decent player, and yeah, like he's quite skillful. He is a talented player, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
he is.
he I think it's not every game that he like performs extremely well, but he's got a lot of potential, and like his goal scoring record may not be that good, but he's a good player. He's a good player. Like out of when you look at Arsenal's squad, he is probably one of their like better players, I'd say. And like he can definitely make something happen. That's the thing. He's dangerous. Like when he played against United, I remember I was a bit scared of him because like he was causing a lot of problems. So I think he was like the only Arsenal player that really like made Luke Shaw like work quite hard. So.
The problem with Pepe was his price. If Arsenal signed him for 30 million, I think they'd see it as a decent signing. His output's not been awful, to be honest.
Yeah, he's got like 14 goals and like 9 assists or something like that, hasn't he?
I don't think so. I think
that's just it, though. If you take away his price this season, you just look at his stats, and again, I don't just look at stats. I think that's boring. We're looking at football, but even eye test, like he is a good player, and I think AFTV put a tweet out. He's ruined by that price tag. That has ruined his career at Arsenal, and unless he can obviously reach that.
Exactly. I don't think it's just a price tag.
That's just money.
I don't think it's just a price tag. I think what's ruined it was the fact of Emery didn't want him. Emery wanted Zaha.
True.
And you bought Pepe, who was his. They play for the same country, but yeah, Zaha starts for Ivory Coast and Pepe doesn't really. I think that was a big stumbling block. And then I think that season when you bought him, I think Zaha was vastly better than him.
He was.
I think that's the big issue.
It was one of his better seasons, Zaha. So I think, if anything, he was trying to prove a point. Like he just lit up that season when Pepe signed, and obviously we were still linked with him even after Pepe signed. So,
But real talk, if you got Zaha, would you have been happy with it?
When Pepe initially signed, yes, because Zaha was doing really well at the time, and like Prime just said, he was doing better than Pepe. Right now, no, because for me, when you look at Zaha, especially in the Palace, he just looks so. He's an angry footballer. Like every time he's on the pitch, he just looks angry.
Yeah.
So under Arteta, he'd probably get sold the week after because Arteta doesn't like conflict, and with some of the egos of our players, they just clash all the time. So it'd be a very poor signing, I think. But yeah, I think his career's a bit of a weird one because he shouldn't be playing for Palace. He should be playing for someone better, but he ain't going to go any further in his career, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Rachel, may I say my fraud?
Yes, of course. Yeah, you can say your fraud.
Because do you know what I was going to do about how fans sometimes treat their players quite horribly on social media? And yes, they are frauds, but a fraud I'm going to go with is the people that blindly say that London is red. I don't want to hear about the history. You can say historically, Arsenal are a more successful club. Yes, you can say they're more successful. If we compare how Chelsea are progressing as a club and how Arsenal and Tottenham are progressing as clubs, there is not even a debate to say that London is either red or white. It is blue. We are looking at players such as Harry Kane, Romelu Lukaku, Tchouaméni, Raphael Varane, actual footballers of an elite level. Arsenal are looking at relegated centre-backs such as Anderson from Fulham, a relegated midfielder such as Sander Berg from Sheffield United, and Odsonne Edouard a Celtic 23-year-old striker who's nothing better than, he's just a bit average. So I don't get how London is still red when we have a better manager, a better owner. We're going to spend more money on bigger players and we'll have a better squad. And we finish higher in the league. What is there to show that London right now is red?
What's the sort of parameters for it? Like, what classes you as being the most successful club in London? Like, because everyone has their own sort of views on it.
For me, there's a difference between being historically more successful and currently being a better club.
The European success.
Yep, European
is what
success
differentiates the two.
Again,
because even when Arsenal were good, like the Henry era, obviously the Bergkamps, the Pires, early 2000s, late 90s, they underperformed majorly in Europe.
I agree.
Majorly, like Wenger in his 2 years? In his 22-year reign at Arsenal, he only reached 2 European finals. 2000 against Galatasaray, who they lost to on penalties, right? And obviously 06, we all know what happened against Barcelona. But obviously, like, the sending off of Lehmann didn't really help. But Henry did miss. I do remember Henry missing the one-on-one, which you would have bet your house on that day, him slotting that away.
That's a good point.
Arsenal should have won that final. They were 1-0 for so long. They were leading most of the game, weren't they?
Wait, can I ask what Vibes FC said? I can tell you some games to watch that I've seen of him at his best this season. You can watch Monaco versus Lille when they drew 0-0. Watch Monaco versus Saint Etienne when Monaco won 4-0. And watch PSG versus Monaco when Monaco won 2-0. That's some of Tchouaméni at his best. I'm not even the biggest fan of Tchouaméni. I think he's a good player, and we're going to sign him. So I'm just going to do the Tchouaméni propaganda, and I'm going to back him as he joins my club. And he's better than Fred. I don't care. He's better than Fred. 5 central midfielders we now have better than Fred. 5. Billy Gilmore's better than Fred. Kovacic is better than Fred. Jorginho's better than Fred. Tchouaméni's better than Fred, and Kante, of course, is better than Fred. So yeah, that's my fraud. It was just a short fraud, really. But yeah. Yeah, I know it's not shots at me, Vibes FC. I was just saying, if you wanted to watch any games of his, there's some good games. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. There's a lot.
No, he's a good player, man. Monaco have done really well this season. Like you've got to put that down to the players because they were so poor the last 2 seasons.
Their manager's shit as well.
Now.
Their manager's shit.
He's all. Is it Cope? I think it's Cope. Actually, he's all right.
Don't hate him. Actually, that's a strong word. I don't like him.
No, I hate him because he dropped Thomas Muller. That in itself is a cardinal sin of football. You don't ever drop Thomas Muller. So
that's true.
That guy's an idiot, but
he's in the Germany squad, isn't he? Thomas Muller.
Yeah.
He's in the Germany squad.
No, he's not. I think he's this year because Hansi Flick will take over. But he fell out. He fell out with Joachim Low.
He's back. Gunnar.
I know he's back now. He's back now. But,
Muller has to be in the Germany squad.
The last few years he's been dropped because he fell out with Joachim Low. So they just dropped him. I think what it is Joachim Low said, this is my last year. I'm going to bite the bullet and try and win this thing. So I best put Thomas Muller in it. Which, I mean, I don't like. It's a smart idea. Thomas Muller is the best centre-attacking midfielder in the world. So,
well, on your points on Arsenal, look, I always said this: London is red, not Chelsea red, not Arsenal red.
Bayern Munich red.
It's Bayern Munich red. It's Bayern Munich red. Has been and always will be Bayern Munich red. Unless you beat them in London, is always gonna be Bayern Munich red. And can we stop with the whole signing relegation players as if it's something to look down
Sanderberg is not a good footballer. He is not a good player.
We're not signing
we
Sanderberg,
signed Andy
man.
Robertson.
We're not signing him. He's too expensive.
Yeah, but
for 17 I got rejected. It's too much money now.
Different. I should have gone into how Sanderberg is an awful footballer. He is an awful footballer.
Also,
it has nothing to do with him being
Benjamin
relegated.
Benjamin Pavard came from Stuttgart, who got relegated.
Stuttgart, yes. He's an okay player.
Who got relegated.
They're looking at a new right back. So what's your point?
Because he's going to play centre back. That's why.
Yeah, that's
getting rid of Boateng
for Julian Nagelsmann, maybe, but Julian Nagelsmann's not Bayern Munich manager yet. He's still at Leipzig for one more game.
No, because he's always played centre back when he's at Stuttgart. The reason why he's played at right back is because he's technically a very good footballer.
Okay, that's cool. So he's going to play centre back at Julian Nagelsmann.
He's always played as a centre back. When he was at Stuttgart,
Okay.
he was
a right centre back for Stuttgart.
What does that have to do with Arsenal
But for
signing?
France, he plays as a right back.
The whole point is don't be a snob and say don't look down upon the fact that.
But he's a shit footballer. What does that have to do with? He's a shit footballer. He's shit. Arsenal should be looking at a higher standard of midfielder. Don't you agree?
Well,
yeah, but they are not.
But they are not at that.
Point.
But they're not at that point where they can do that.
Wait. Let Ram speak. Let Ram speak.
They're not at that.
Let Ram speak.
They're not at that point yet. But there are players from lower leagues or relegated teams that are good, that are very good players.
Yes, but that's not Sander Berg.
Rocky Madison is a very good centre back.
He's not just on about Sander Berg. He's on about
Anderson again. Is not Arsenal quality.
Yes, he is. He is.
For a club
he
of
is. No. This is where I was surprised that a club like Fulham signed him. I didn't know Fulham had the capabilities of signing this guy because he's a very good defender. I've always rated this guy, but I would have loved him to be like backup to Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk.
So backup. Liverpool are a massive club. You would not sign Anderson to start, would you?
Yeah, but they've got Van Dijk and Gomez.
Yeah, we've got Van Dijk and Gomez.
Gabriel and
exactly. They're not. He's not good
Liverpool
enough.
signed Kabak, didn't they? Kabak from Schalke.
Yes, and he's not going to sign on a permanent.
No.
Well, that's because apparently he's got a groin injury.
And
a very bad one.
What I've heard. Oh, sorry. What I've heard about Kabak is apparently Leipzig got interested, and that's going to be like a make way for Konate to come in.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But Leipzig would be very silly if they signed Kabak.
My point is, if Arsenal were the biggest club in London as of now, well, not the biggest maybe. If London was red right now, would they be going for? They should be going for better defenders than what Chelsea are going for.
I agree.
Should have a better team.
I agree.
So yeah, I don't doubt that, but
that's my
problem,
point, Rams. I'm not saying
but
that
my problem
defender is awful. I'm not saying.
But my problem with you is that what you said is that you sort of is a snobbery approach to what Arsenal are doing, and it's worked in the past with us in particular because before when we were trying to get top four, we signed the likes of Robertson and Wijnaldum.
Are we all forgetting Leicester? Their Premier League winning team was literally second tier players from all around Europe.
But
I get their scouting is mad.
Smaller club.
Like Ruben
But
Neves played in the Championship, bro.
Berg again. Why? So if Berg was so good, why are only Arsenal looking at him?
No, Berg's not good, man.
Exactly. So
we're not saying.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's not the
I'm
point.
just trying to clear it up.
That's not the
fans
point.
don't particularly want Berg. Like we're not just focusing on Berg. Like he's not good enough. I don't think we're going to sign him.
And that's why I said you're targeting Berg.
We're not targeting him though. We're just looking at him.
Yeah,
but offering for him.
But the point, I think the point though is, if you're an Arsenal fan, you would care more. You would care more about the performances of the players that come into the club opposed to the name attached to the player.
Exactly.
Because you sign somebody like Mesut Ozil, and nobody at Arsenal is talking like Mesut Ozil won a European Golden Boy Award. He was incredible at Real Madrid, and no one at Arsenal is talking about him as if he's this revelation that fell from the sky and came to their club. Like but people are talking about Saka and how brilliant he's been for them this year. And like nobody knew anything about him. And so I think like they care. You should care more about the performances of the players.
Saka's a youth product.
But
sure. Have you watched the Championship? Have you watched
I do
the
occasionally. I
Championship?
don't watch it too often. I occasionally.
Can I just chuck in my 2 pence worth as a fan of a lower league club? Yes. The quality within the Football League is insane. I see some players no, 1 minute, Will. I see some players in League One that are insane. Ollie Watkins came from Brentford. He's had one of the best seasons in the league in terms of output for a striker, right? The quality in League One is very good. The quality in the Championship is insane. Max Aarons is a very highly rated right back at Norwich. Very highly rated. He's been linked with United, Arsenal. That he is a
Bayern
very
Munich.
talented player. Buendia,
Bayern Munich.
another very
Yeah.
talented player.
Max
So
Aarons was wanted by Bayern
what
Munich.
you have to do
Wow,
is
I
you
didn't
have
know
to
that.
take
Bloody
away
hell.
where you're getting them from. You look at the player and the player only.
Yeah.
Ignore where
What?
you're getting them from. You can get them from the Championship. And I get what you're saying about Sander Berg, but I just think this whole relegation thing, you need to take away everything outside the price tag, all of it. Right? Look at the player that you're purchasing. If you go get Max Aarons, you're getting a very talented right back who's playing for England under 21s. If you get like a Buendia, you're getting a very talented player. You just have to take away the league they play in.
I don't think you guys, because I understand what Will's trying to say. I think you guys are focusing on the little quality that's around. So Pavard, or who I like him, but I don't think he's necessarily that great, or Buendia or Aarons, which is fine. But he's talking about the fact that Arsenal are looking at the likes of Sepp van Berg, who isn't that great from a relegation side. I think that's what he's trying to focus on. That's the point. That's the point he's trying to make.
Yeah, but Arsenal also looking at Max Aarons. They're also looking at Buendia.
But I also
and Man United are also looking at Max Aarons.
Yeah, but
wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned the fact that he's a relegation player. My point was that if you're the biggest club in London and London is red, you should not be looking at a player of a quality of what's his name, of Berg.
We're not with the biggest club in London, but we're not acting.
You're
like
the most
right
successful.
Now.
You're not the biggest. You're the most successful.
No, we are. We are the biggest club. What we have more fans than you. So
what that goes back to, what that goes back to is the point that I think that this whole argument is stupid on all accounts because there's no parameters for it. I think that's the question that Rachel asked earlier. Like, what are the parameters? Because if it's success, it's Arsenal. If it's the way you're run right now, it's Chelsea. But like, so it just depends. So then there is no definitive way to talk about who's the biggest. Because typically when people talk about who's the biggest at anything in sports, it has to do with accolades. And Arsenal
That's fair enough.
And Arsenal have more accolades than Chelsea.
Just say London is purple. That's a mix of red and blue, sorted.
But my point, we didn't even have to get
London
into
is red for Bayern Munich, isn't it?
No. London, right? To stop the argument, London is purple, sorted. Congratulations.
Yeah, but no. I wasn't even trying to disrespect the Championship. I know Emi Buendia is a good player.
No, I know you're not. And
Emi Buendia is Premier League level. Is he Arsenal quality? You could debate it. My point is, if Arsenal fans have these such high standards for their club, they should not be. Arsenal should not be looking at players like Berg.
No, but Will, this is
£30 million.
Arsenal aren't in a position where they're
the best
No,
players.
I'm saying
That's what you're saying, isn't it, Will?
This is
I'm saying what Will's saying. I'm an Arsenal fan. I have very high standards for my team, and I've said this before. My expectations will not ever drop. I don't care. We're still one of the biggest teams in the world. Or we are a big team. We're not acting like it.
I'm not even.
So I'm not.
I know.
I'm not going to drop my expectations for this. I agree with you. I don't. Yeah, I'm sure Joachim Anderson's a good player, but is he what we need? No, because our defense is utterly shocking. It's so poor, but we don't see it because first off, David Luiz has carried the defense. Whether rivals want to, think he's good or not, he is very good for Arsenal, and he has been the best centre back. The only reason we look decent defensively in terms of numbers is because Arteta plays a very defensive system, which is why we don't score. And at the end of the day, Luiz is gone. Saliba, everyone's expecting him to come in and instantly light the world up, and I think he will, but you can't rely on that. You can't rely on a 19-year-old to carry a team. I get that we've done it with Saka, but it's 1 in a million, so we need a top centre-back to come in and to teach Saliba how to be a good centre-back. And the same for Gabriel. He still needs teaching. The guy's 3? And he's still quite poor in areas that can be taught. So I want someone experienced. For me, Ramos would be perfect. I'm not saying we're going to get Ramos. In no way. But if we were a big club, we'd go and give him a massive contract for 1 season and say, you're going to play some games, you're going to teach the young players how to play, and then you can leave the season afterwards.
Exactly. That's my point.
But we're not acting like that right now because the owners are idiots, man.
Exactly. I wasn't even trying to make fun of Arsenal fans in general. I was making fun of how they're run. They're not run like a big club. They're not.
No, I'm not going to defend that because it's facts. You can't defend that. It's facts.
No, I get that logic. You know, like if you want your team to perform like the best, you'll obviously go out for the best players. It totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think
best club in London, sign the best players, have the best team, the best manager.
Yeah. What I quickly want to say though is that like
London is blue.
Like signing a big player, it doesn't always work out. Like for example, with Man United, they broke the transfer fee to sign a Di Maria. That didn't work out. We got fouled.
But Di Maria is an excellent player. Di Maria is an excellent player.
But it didn't work out though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that was different though. He didn't get on with Van Gaal, fair enough, but he also had some personal issues that happened as well. So it was a freak incident.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I swear his output wasn't even awful. He got like 10 assists.
It wasn't. It was decent.
Yeah.
Do you know?
He started really well.
You know what Di Maria
didn't
he fell under a little bit of what Pepe fell under. The manager didn't really like him. He was very expensive and he was performing at maybe a 40, 50, possibly 30 million level. But because of the high price tag, he was deemed shit. That's what Pepe is kind of falling under right now.
For me, I think when it comes to Di Maria, I think he's one of those players that there's not a lot of them out there, but he's one of those players who likes to be a little bit in the background. In the sense that he doesn't want to be the main man. He doesn't want to be
like at Real Madrid. Yeah.
Real Madrid, you got Ronaldo, Bale, Benzema, Marcelo, Ramos. At PSG, you got Neymar, Mbappe, them lot. At United, he was just the guy to do stuff, and I feel like it doesn't fit his kind of profile, and I think that's why it didn't work out. Like if you ask all the Spanish pundits, they would be like, yeah, the kind of profile that United were looking for, Di Maria was not that. Does he have the technical ability? Of course he does. He's incredibly talented, but you always have to factor in the profile and the temperament that and the character you're looking for in a player. And Man United didn't do their due diligence when they were looking at the character of Di Maria, in my opinion.
Yeah, I still
feel like he's a snake. I still feel like he's a snake, to be honest. I feel like he could have made more effort. I feel like he could have made more effort to settle in Manchester. Like I know he got burgled and all that, but I mean, still, like he was so such a talented player. I expected him to do a lot better, to be honest. And
but remember,
he didn't want to stay.
To be fair, Louis van Gaal played him out of position a lot as well. Plus the burglary. And it was a thing where he just, of course, you're not going to settle when something outside of football affects you and on the pitch affects you. It's very difficult for a player. They're still human at the end of the day, and they're going to go. There's a mental health aspect in there as well. So I don't have anything against Di Maria. I'm not like one of those United fans that are like, oh, he's a snake. I think it's over the top, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I will never forget Di Maria's debut when Van Gaal played him in central midfield in the midfield 2 away to Burnley. I was like, this guy's not going to work out. If he's going to play there all year, it's not gonna work. I mean, and yeah, it's just one of those things where there's so many nuances and like hidden factors that I don't think we as fans take into consideration that determines whether players work out or not. We just assume because you work here, you're going to work here, and that's not always the case. So I think the way that we look at how players do at clubs compared to how they could do at a different club. We need to look closer. For example, I look at Matt Doherty at Wolves playing in a back 5. He was able to use his best abilities to go and like perform well for Nuno's side. His performances led him to be linked to Tottenham, and they signed him. But when you play him in a back 4, he just gets exposed in different ways. And so I think that doesn't mean that he's a bad player. It just means that the system that he was playing in that led to him performing well didn't necessarily contribute to him performing well at a different setting. So I think you really have to take those rose-colored glasses. Like, for example, like being linked to big names doesn't guarantee that those big names will perform for you. right? Like for example, and I'm not trying to take what you're saying out of context earlier, Will. So just work with me for a second. Like earlier, you're saying we're linked to Romelu Lukaku. You had Romelu Lukaku, but he didn't work out at the time in which he was at Chelsea, right? He goes elsewhere, performs well, and now you're linked to him. And if he comes back, he's probably going to perform for you far better than he did when he was there the first time.
I agree with you. Yes,
But that doesn't mean that Romelu Lukaku was ever a bad player. There's just circumstances in play that don't lead to it always working out. Same thing with Mo Salah at Chelsea. It didn't work out, but it works for Liverpool because of the journey that he went on to get there and the system in which Klopp employed him. Like clubs have to really do that. That's like I don't know how Rachel feels about this, but like that's my biggest issue with Manchester United. We don't do the due diligence properly to ensure that players are going to work. Like I don't have an issue with Fred, for example, because I know that Fred was never supposed to be signed in the first place. You know what I mean? Like we didn't like the guy who signed him didn't want it. So like, of course he's gonna fail, right? Of course he's gonna fail. If you're looking at the third, fourth, fifth, sixth option on your list, like there's a reason that they're that low down. So maybe you shouldn't sign them if you have opportunities to go for people higher up. And so I think that's one thing that Arsenal is gonna have to figure out this summer is like you could get Joaquin Anderson, but is there somebody higher up on that list that you can also go after in that same position? And if there is, regardless of the name, you should get that guy because he's probably going to be better for you in the long run and give you what you need. And so, like that's a step going back in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on something Rachel pointed out about complementary players. With a lot of clubs, I'll give Manchester United and Arsenal as an example. When Arsenal brought Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid, a lot of people thought that he was the answer to their problems, like they knew Vieira, for example. But the issue is that if you actually watch Thomas Partey at Atletico Madrid, he is a complementary player because he had the right midfielders around him for him to get the best out of him for what he is good at. Whereas at Arsenal, he doesn't. And the same with Donny van der Beek at Manchester United. He is also a complementary player as well. But the way United and the way Oli plays, like the way he sets up and the way he plays, doesn't suit Van der Beek's style of play. Because with Van der Beek, to get the best out of him, you have to link with him and be in sync with him in terms of the quick pass and moves, the running in behind, the 1 and 2, the little give and goes. Whereas when I see United play a lot of the time, you don't really play through your midfield a lot. Your midfield is very absent unless Pogba's in there, because you play the pivot of McFred and literally
best pivot in the world, baby.
Sideways,
backwards, enforcer, like Fred's supposed to be, but you don't really play through your
doesn't
midfield.
suit Donny.
It doesn't suit Donny at all.
It's not good, it's great.
I think you need to...
I will remove you, Brian. Okay, I will remove you.
I think you
None
need
of
to
this.
remember about Van der Beek.
You can't silence the truth.
Is that Van der Beek he's only played one system. It's the Ajax way. Everyone knows the famous Ajax way.
I haven't forgotten my forward. I'm waiting patiently.
There's
once I say my forward, there's going to be an entire fan base on my backside, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
Is it Arsenal by any chance?
No, I'm actually giving Arsenal a day off. I did them on Twitter with Tottenham earlier. I know I'm not normally that nice, but I decided to do Rams on Twitter.
Sorry, Rams. Go. Keep going.
I've lost my train of thought.
Donny van der Beek's used to the Ajax way. If I remember correctly.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, the trains just stopped, man. I can't.
Yeah, no, but that was what you were on. Like you were basically talking about Donny van der Beek's only really one system, the Ajax way.
So change into an Ollie system, which isn't that, is always going to be difficult. We've seen it with Matthias de Ligt. Like he is doing all right for Juventus, but he struggled at first. because they play different.
Saw it with De
That,
Jong.
I'm presuming that's what you're trying to say, but yeah, exactly. De Jong
I
struggled.
think De
and he got
Jong's
into it.
one's a little bit different. De Jong's one's a bit because the team is actually kind of crap. He's struggling a little bit, although with the style of football is not very different to Ajax's, but he's
Yeah,
still
it's a
doing
Ronald
very
Koeman,
well.
isn't it?
He's doing very well at Barcelona. He's probably one of the best out of everyone that's left.
Can I
that-
mention my unpopular opinion / fraud?
Yeah,
Go
go
on.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so mine isn't because I was thinking about this, right? And what I want to present is a mixture of an unpopular opinion / fraud / talking point, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think personally the current era of football that we are watching is one of the worst.
Yes, agreed.
And what I want to do is I want to just elaborate on that. And what I mean by it being one of the worst is I feel that a lot of the players up and coming now are drilled to be athletes first, rather than being. And what that's basically consequently meant is that the footballing ability and the expression that players go out and play with has kind of been lost within the game. And what that's also resulted in is a lot of players relying on systems and the way managers have like coaches and managers of have improvement of players, rather than being able to nurture certain skill sets and certain abilities. Basically, in to basically just summarize, I feel like the players back in the day, so like I would say the late 90s, early 2000s, even mid 2000s, you had a lot of top quality players who didn't really rely on the system, and that could pretty much play in any system in any team. Whether you're like the likes of your Ronaldinhos, your Bergkamps, Gerrards, Lampards, Scholeses, even like players like in the mid table, or even like lower down the league, like your Matt Letizier's at Southampton was a quality
Canio.
footballer.
Yeah.
Di
JJ
Canio,
Okocha.
two guy
Kocha.
at Blackburn, JJ Okocha, yeah. And even some of the strikers, Defoe at Tottenham and West Ham. I mean, some of these players will, if they were playing in this era right now, in terms of just technical ability alone, they would absolutely just that you'd be feeding them. It would be goals galore, assists galore, and also back then, before Opta came in, what assists used to count for now, back then to what assists count for now, are completely different. So you can hit a 2-yard pass to someone. If they still have to dribble past 3 or 4 players and slot it into the back of the net, the person who played the 2-yard pass gets an assist. Back then, that would be counted as an assist. What an assist would be is someone who does majority of the work, takes a player on, goes by the bar and crosses it in, and the scorer either has to literally gets a tap in or a header.
A major contributor to a goal, basically.
Major contributor. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's basically my take, and I don't know if the panel on here are old enough to remember football back in the day of like 15, 20 years ago, or if they 10 years ago or whatever, but
I can remember
that was
15.
just my opinion.
I can remember 15. I'm not that old yet.
No,
agree.
but I can respect that some of the panel are quite young.
Yeah.
So.
I was explaining this to Will earlier. Actually, I was telling Will 15 years ago, you had midfielders that could do everything. You had strikers that could do their job and just score goals. You had defenders who can just defend. Now you struggle to think of top quality centre backs that your team would want to buy. Same with the strikers and your midfielders. They have to be very specific that fit into your system, because most of them are actually quite limited in what they can do. So you go for a CDM, an 8 or a 10. There are very few players that can do a bit of everything now.
Rachel,
It's
do you know what's mad?
ridiculous.
Do you know what's mad?
Mm.
Can you name me any centre backs that are proven that shown leadership qualities
Phil Jones.
in this era?
Oh
Virgil
my
van Dijk.
god.
I'm
I think
kidding.
Van Dijk.
I'm kidding.
Van Dijk is a leader
Yeah.
for Liverpool's defense. I feel.
Because
feel
I
like-
can only name.
I would say Sergio Ramos.
I can
Yeah,
only
let's say
name.
Ramos.
Yeah,
I can
Ramos
only name
definitely.
around about 5 in the
Ramos
world.
is at the top
Five.
for me.
Like
Yeah, no,
Ramos,
it's true.
Rams, would you
Ramos,
say
Van
Virgil van
Dijk.
Dijk?
Ramos, Van Dijk, definitely. Romagnoli for Milan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I could even say Chiellini if he's still even playing. I don't even know if he's still playing.
But that's the last 5. That's the last 5 to 7 years, so that counts as well. He counts as well, doesn't he? So,
Even though
Yeah,
I
no,
don't like,
Wait,
even though I
Ram,
don't like the
Ram.
geezer, even though I don't like the geezer, and he's a bit of a scumbag, Bonucci. I can't.
Is this
What-
just based on leadership or overall ability?
Leadership.
What would you say about
So
Ram?
I'd argue David Luiz then.
Yeah,
Throughout
I
his
was gonna
career,
say
he's been an
David
insane
Luiz,
leader. And not even just at Arsenal, like PSG. Obviously,
I know
Thiago Silva
this-
was there, but he's been mad.
I know it sounds mad, but look at United's back four. You probably have to say Maguire. Like,
Yeah.
I never, at the start of the season, I said some horrific things about him. I still maintain he has the movement of a fridge. I still maintain that, and I will not change my viewpoint. Maguire has the movement of a fridge. He no longer has the brain of a fridge. He actually is very good, sort of mentally.
Nah, just the head
good
shape.
lead.
but-
He's underrated, I think, Maguire.
He really
It's
is.
the price tag as well,
He really
isn't it? The price tag
Ju-
is.
ju-
Man
just
United
the-
have struggled
Niall,
now
he doesn't
since he's
have
been
the brain
injured.
of a fridge, bro. He just has the head shape.
The
Just
price,
change the head shape.
the price. No matter how well Harry Maguire does for Manchester United, the price tag will always ruin his legacy. Like Manchester United should not have paid that much money for him, but they wanted him that badly, and it showed. But like he's been so steady for Manchester United this season, and it's clear to see like what the team is without him as well. But yeah, it's similar to the Pepe situation. Pepe could win the Golden Boot next year, and people would be like, well, I mean, he's not worth 75 million though, and people,
for
like
to be deemed
it's
good,
the
he has
same
to win a
thing.
Ballon d'Or or something like.
He has,
that.
he
He's
has
stuck
to.
in that kind of in that
He has,
barrier.
he has to win a Ballon d'Or, and it's just it's the same thing with Maguire. Like he will never be valued properly because of his price tag, and it's unfortunate. And yeah, a company I would put on that list. Company is incredible.
Companies,
Maguire as an example.
no, but companies retired. Companies retired. I meant
Yeah, but
players
he's
that are
been
playing.
involved within
He did play in the last 5 years.
He was
yeah.
captain.
Yeah.
He was captain
last 5 years.
for a while.
But yeah, at the moment there aren't many at all. You could
No.
argue Koulibaly, but I don't know how he's doing at the moment.
No,
but,
Koulibaly. Oh, I'm sorry.
Nah.
If a guy that's 6'5" has a heading win success rate of 33%, I'm sorry, no.
Wait,
That's
what?
not that
yeah.
bad. That's not that bad. 1 in 3. Come on
That's
now.
lower than Jules Koundé.
33, bro.
5'11".
That guy has a leap on him though. Kunde has a leap.
Oh
on
yeah,
him.
No,
Brian,
Brian,
you
you
are-
are, Brian, you are 6'5" and an
Koulibaly's
animal.
very fast though, isn't he? He's
Koulibaly
quick.
didn't even need to jump.
quick centre
Jules
back.
Koundé has to leap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
Koulibaly
even-
is
so this
physical
is
and
the
quick,
point I
but
was-
heading's probably not his best attribute, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
on what we both saying, one player that I still think will never be replaced fully is Yaya Toure, because he could literally do everything. Free kicks, penalties, passing, dribbling, crossing, shoot, all of it. He could do every single thing.
Fernandinho.
He's in my
You
top
could class
5
him as a leader.
all-time Premier League midfielders.
Fernandinho has to be classed as a leader.
I wouldn't.
Can I say
put-
my forward quickly?
Toure.
I've got a good one.
Yeah, go for it.
It's going to cause an absolute outrage. So my one, it's an anthem, and it's actually "You'll Never Walk Alone." So the reason I've picked "You'll Never Walk Alone" is because they say and they sing it with chest every single season and year. Yet when a player's going through a bad patch, guess what? They're walking alone. Look at Gini Wijnaldum this season, having a really poor season. All your fans done with him. He's walking alone, isn't he? So don't sing with chest. You'll never walk alone when you dumping your players to the backyard. Like, it's disgraceful.
I mean,
Like, it's
my
the
man's
most.
leaving.
One minute.
My man's leaving.
It's the most fraudulent thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, you say, "Oh, you'll never walk alone." You sing it with chest. You don't mean the words. 'Cause if you meant the words, you'd stick by your players when they're going for a bad patch. So there's a reason why other clubs don't sing that song, obviously, but
that's
you
incorrect.
can't be
Actually,
you
Celtic
can't. Well, yeah, but there's not every club in the world sing that song, right? You can't sing a song and then literally throw your players under a bus, because that is the equivalent of literally making them walk on their own. Like, I just don't understand how you can sing at the chest, be proud and all of that about, oh yeah, you'll never walk alone, we're always here with you. Yet the minute they're going for a bad patch, oh, absolutely disgraceful, get rid of him. Like, Marnie don't shake Klopp's hand, gotta get rid of him. Like, it's fraudulent. Like, and to be fair, you can probably put Liverpool fans in there with them, the ones that are like that. You can probably put Liverpool fans that sing that song and like, yeah, you'll never walk alone, but then want their players gone. Like, you can probably chuck them in there with it. So yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. I want to
also to be fair, when Argyle went to Anfield, it wasn't very loud anyway, so I'm just chucking that out.
Oh,
That's good.
I kind of want to
There, innit?
attack that straight away, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
First of all, you'll never walk alone. The meaning of "you'll never walk alone" is not about when players are going through a bad patch, every single fan throws them under the bus. It's to do with we all unite as one, so we all win together and we all lose together as one. That's a fan base, that's a club, that's an owner, that's everything from top to bottom. Hold up,
Let him speak.
Wait, right. When you said, oh, because Genie Wijnaldum's not performed this season, he's been thrown under the bus and everybody wants him to leave. I'm sorry, but if a player has underperformed this season and it's glaringly obvious at any stage of the season and fans can see that, are they not in their right to criticize that player?
Yeah, but don't sing a song, and you'll never walk alone, making him walk alone. Like, I thought you win together and lose together, don't you? Like, the thing is, some of the things I've heard said about Genie Wijnaldum, right? Some of the things not you personally, but some of the things that Liverpool fans have said, right?
Yeah.
That it doesn't show me the unity. It doesn't show me the winning together, the losing together. It's like you're just pinning it on Genie Wijnaldum. Oh, he's not signed a new contract. It's his fault. Blah blah blah. It's his fault. Right. So the thing is, I hear what you're saying, and yeah, you can criticize them, but to some of the things that have been said, and it's in every fan base, but not every fan base in England sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." So I've not gone for them. The thing is, if you got a player like that, yeah, cool, criticize them. Criticize every player. That's absolutely normal. But it's the things I hear all the time about Genie Wijnaldum, I don't care, all of this. It doesn't show that togetherness that Liverpool claim to have. For me, it's fraudulent. To be singing that song and then to start throwing players under the bus left, right, and centre, it's so fraudulent. So fraudulent.
What I would say to that is Genie Wijnaldum's not the only player that Liverpool have criticised this season. We've criticised Mane. He's had one of his worst seasons since.
I mentioned Mane as well in my speech. I mentioned Mane
he's also Liverpool fans have also criticised Firmino for the last 2 years. Right, Salah's also been criticised this season. Even though he probably has the most credit in the bank out of every other player in our team. Keita's been criticised this season. Trent Alexander-Arnold's been criticised this season.
It's about the level of criticism, though. It's about the level of criticism. There are little fans that slam into Genie Wijnaldum. Everything is his fault this season. He is the reason that you were absolutely slamming into him. Then you got Firmino, they slam into. Don't get the goals, even though he's not a striker. Right? He's a false nine.
Yeah, no, that's what I argue with Liverpool fans about that all the time.
Yeah,
he's not a striker.
I get that, and I'm not targeting every fan. I'm targeting the anthem because the anthem, for me, the words are fraudulent. Because if you're chucking people under a bus, then the whole identity of we lose together, we win together, it's pointless, because if you're just gonna really slam into one player and not win together and lose together, as people proudly say, then at the end of the day, I just don't get how you can sing that song and then after the end of the game be slamming into a player that much. Like, criticism, yeah, I criticize my own players, but it's the level of criticism that you see all the time.
And also, it's quite funny you mentioned that specifically about this season. There's been no fans in the stadium to sing that song.
Yeah, but you've seen it online.
So,
But hold on, so you can still be singing that song. So you still sing that song last season, yeah. On maybe not last season's a good point, but you see it before, where you'd be singing that song, and you'd still be criticizing them online, wouldn't you? Like, just because there's been no fans singing it doesn't make it fraudulent. Like, fans still relate to that song. It's still blown out the speakers at every game at Anfield. Yet the players go onto social media and absolutely slam into players. Like, at the end of the day, you either need to choose a new anthem, or you need to stop being dickheads to your players. Really, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but that's something that every club does. To be fair,
Yeah, I get that, Rachel, but not every club sings "You'll Never Walk Alone." That's why
I mean,
it's kind of unfair, to be
Borussia
honest.
Dortmund do it, Celtic do it, Copenhagen do it. A lot of clubs do it.
Okay, I meant clubs in England. I meant clubs in England because that's the football I watch.
yeah, but,
I don't
but you
watch,
didn't specify that when you actually.
Okay,
made your argument.
maybe I need to be more specific. In England, no other team
Yeah.
sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," right? Because I know a lot of people watch a lot of other nations' leagues. I don't, because I firstly don't have time, and B, I'm not that interested. In England, no one else I think sings that song. And that's why I've gone for that, because at the end of the day, you can't win together, lose together, sing that song, and then go attack Genie Wijnaldum on Twitter after he's had a shocking performance. I
think there's a fine line between attacking someone and criticizing someone.
Yeah, there is, and that fine line's been broken.
But the thing is every single fan base has a deluded fan base. Every deluded cult. Every single fan base has
not every other fan base thinks you'll never walk.
But what I would say is, you can't beat every fan with the same sticks.
But you do realize that "You'll Never Walk Alone" carries a lot of heritage. It goes back to the days of Bill Shankly, where it first started. Where he started the whole brigade of Liverpool. It's sort of as if it's like a heritage thing that we like to hold on to, because it is what it is the essence of Liverpool Football Club. It is what Bill Shankly built in the 1960s.
Need to buy into that, then. You need to stop attacking the players. Then, if you want to hold on to the heritage, be Liverpool fans. Like, don't attack the players. There's criticize. I get criticized. You can criticize a player. I'm not saying you can't criticize a player. Jeez, that's not football. Everyone has an opinion. It's the attacks on the players. It's some of the things I saw after Sadio Mane refused to shake Klopp's hand was utterly disgusting, from your own fan base, mind you, from your own fan base. And again, I know there are fans like that in every other club, but not every other club in the UK or in England sings "You'll Never Walk Alone." So that's why I've gone for that.
But no, this is the thing. I guarantee you, if you ask any fan, if every fan base has these odd accounts where they do whatever and say whatever, and like, no, but hang on, I feel like those accounts don't know the significance of what Liverpool Football Club is, like the understanding behind it. So if you go into a Man United account and say someone's slagging off, I don't know, Marcus Rashford, if you ask them, do you know what the Holy Trinity is for Manchester United, I guarantee you they will say no. If you ask a Liverpool fan who's blasting attacks at Wijnaldum, Mane, if you ask them who Terry McDermott is, they'll say, I don't know who that is.
The Holy Trinity is in that Law, Best and Charlton.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Man United's slogan is actually "You courage greatness." And so if you're slagging Marcus Rashford, you'll be going against that, wouldn't you? Because he's one of our.
Are you then saying that those fans are not true fans?
Well, every football club doesn't have true fans. It's as simple as that.
No, but that doesn't make them So that doesn't make them any less of fans of the club. I think the point Niall is trying to get at is the hypocrisy, which I understand, and it does make sense.
It makes sense.
I think Niall's right in what he's saying.
No, Prime, it does make sense, but the thing is, what Niall was trying to say is that, if your fans are gonna abuse certain players for not playing well or having a bad season on social media, then you shouldn't sing the song. But the problem is
That's exactly what I'm saying. You are correct.
But the issue with that is what controls and measures should be put into place. Is it something you can really control?
His point is the hypocrisy.
Fan base worldwide.
I know.
So it's a bit of a no-win situation.
His point is the hypocrisy. So you can't say that we're this big glorious club with all this history and we stand with our players, but yet the abuse Karius got in after the, for example, the Champions League final. That's not okay. Especially with a club that says we have this glorious history that we stand with all our players. The same way Arsenal say they're this classy club. But there are things I've seen from their fans over the past few years that does not deem this. That does not deem this classy club title. That's the point. That's the hypocrisy.
He did tell the Arsenal fans
I'm just using
redundant,
that's the hypocrisy in it. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So
can you justify?
Just to clarify the Xhaka thing, he's shit, bro. He deserved it. That guy's a pagan. Like the way
and
that
he told the Arsenal fans to F off.
Exactly. So. And look,
no, but that was after you booed him.
Just to clear that up. Yeah, we abused him.
We understand the context. You're going off on a tangent. It's not needed. I understand that you're going off on a tangent. It's not needed. My point is, fan bases like. And Liverpool and Arsenal are the two ones because they're the two ones that really do it in England. You can't talk about being this big club with rich, glorious history and that we stand by our players.
United
we're
do
so
it as well,
classy and amazing, and do stuff like this.
United
every
do it.
Club does, every club.
I know every club does it, and I mean I guess it doesn't make it okay, but every club does it, so fine. But the hypocrisy from Liverpool fans, and I'm throwing Arsenal fans in there as well. That's the point that I think Niall's getting at, and the point I'm getting at. That hypocrisy is not good.
But I think my problem.
To say very, very clearly.
But now my problem. You said that if you shouldn't be singing the song if you're going to be doing.
Yeah, you shouldn't if you're going to be that hypocrisy.
But
if you're going to be that hypocritical.
My problem behind it is you can't just change a new song, because if you change a new song, it will.
It's okay. Just add some lyrics. Just add some lyrics.
You are washing away.
No. Just add a couple of lyrics. That's all you need to do. So just put "You'll never walk alone when you're winning." Right? Just say that, or "You'll never walk alone when you're playing well." Because when you're losing and you're playing badly, you're walking alone. So I'm not asking you to remove song. Just make it less hypocritical. Just add in when you're winning or when you're losing. It would just make it fair.
Or not even like
taking the jokes. Hang on, Prime. Taking the jokes out of it. You can't do that, because you're obviously going to take away the significance and the history behind what it is. Like if you take away that song, you are tearing up the history that Bill Shank.
The other side of go ahead, Prime. Sorry.
No, you can make your final point because I'm about to end this. So.
No, I was just saying that I think while I get where you're coming from, I think the other side of it too, you have to realize is that like songs, anthems, those things have significance regardless of what people do around them. So that anthem significance doesn't suddenly lose any merit because a handful of fans are stupid. Like it holds significance because of why it was instituted into the club in the first place, and that's the reason that it's there, not because of what people do around the song. So, like, while I get where you're coming from, like Liverpool fans don't sing the song because of how it causes them to act. They sing the song because of what it means to the club, and that holds the significance alone. Not because of what the fans do or don't do or say or don't say. So like there's a level to it where you have to kind of just give credence to what Ram is saying, because if you do change the song, then the significance and the history, the reason it was placed into the team is the reason it was placed into the club is lost then.
You can even keep the same melody.
Well,
I have no issue with you keeping the same melody. Just add the lyrics that need adding, because it's a bit fraudulent at the moment. Very
okay. I mean, all right. I agree with not saying you can't. I mean, if people are going to sing it, they're singing it. But at least for me, anyway, songs like that lose merit or they lose weight when it's hypocrisized. But whatever, if fan bases do it, then fair enough. And
yeah, but it doesn't lose merit. It doesn't lose merit or weight when it's being sung by people. When like it doesn't lose merit or weight when it was instituted years before the people who are singing it now are trying to make it sound like something it's not.
I know, but I'm not talking about what happened years ago. I'm talking about now. But it's,
yeah,
again, it's fine.
But what happened years ago can be.
But what happened years ago is why it exists.
I know, but whatever, it's fine. We don't need to get back into this. Rams, do you have yours, or can we end this because it's been 2 hours 10 minutes?
No, I'll let the people go sleep in it.
Okay.
Next week.
Next week.
I'm very tired right now. Rams' Twitter is there. Gang and Deep Will's been here. He's part of KH. Brian, so you can catch him on Twitter. New York Express. Now from Let's Talk Premier League. Rachel's on here. I'm on here. Samuel's on EGTV with Egal.